How you doing?
Doing all right.
Oh my gosh.
What with you?
Sorry. Doing okay. I did take a nap and then I was up all night working and then like most of the day and I was like let me get some sleep before the show and I had to like I had to fix my computer that I stream on for this. So it was like it was annoying. What'd you get up to today?
Took the dog out for a long walk. Her back's been bothering her, so I've been trying to make sure she gets
Oh
her
no.
exercise. She can lose some weight. Yeah,
Yeah.
gave her some some heating pad treatment and stuff, and then worked for a little bit, answered some emails, that sort of shit.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, excuse me. Let me post a link that we're live.
I figured you were asleep. Usually got everything set up by now.
Yeah, I thought I would, I didn't think I was gonna be out for as long as I was. I got a good fucking, got a good, got a good sleep going.
Bro, you're too old for those all nighters.
Yeah,
You're washed. You're washed, dog.
I'm still annoyed about the Warriors losing last night.
Yeah, push you to play in. That sucks.
Yeah. Well, wait. I mean, currently they're still like looking at the standings. It like really like we still are a pretty good shot to not be in the play-in. Like still a pretty good shot to be like the sixth seed,
Yeah.
but it anything beyond that is
How many games
is
y'all
pretty
got
tough.
left?
Only two. And the Blazers and the Clippers.
Oh, Clippers. Clippers are tough.
Yeah, Clippers are real tough, but they're like the same seed. They're like I think they're right above us now
Yeah.
because we lost. Um, but if we beat if they are locked in, there's a good chance they could just not play all their guys. But because like why bother if you have like all these older dudes?
Yeah, exactly.
And then oh fuck yeah, it was
Some
a
random when
frustrating
the
game.
Clippers, some random when the Clippers will cook you that night. So
I
yeah.
know, right? What's up, Para?
Hey, what's up, R? Yeah, it's a really nice day today. Like beautiful day. So spent a lot of it outdoors with the dog.
Yeah, it's good.
Figured I'd be indoors working all night. So
Right. I didn't go out like I wanted to for my walk today. I was too busy to be locked in on the drawing, and then like I was planning on going on a walk before we started the show, but like I said, fell asleep. Posting about this. Hope Ibrahim's coming. I'm including him, but just what's going on here. Hara says, bright, beautiful morning seen in a park. Very relaxing. Oh, you're coloring that?
Nice.
Sick.
Nice.
Whoa. A plane with, I just saw this news story. I don't know if you heard about this. A plane with at least 6 House members clipped by aircraft on taxiway at Reagan National Airport near D.C. A plane carrying at least half a dozen U.S. House members was clipped by another aircraft on the ground at Ronald Reagan National Airport near Washington, D.C. on Thursday, officials said. Representative Gregory Meeks, Nick LaLotta, Grace Mang, and Josh Gottimer all confirmed on social media that they were aboard American Airlines plane that was clipped. Oh, Richie Torres was on it too. Damn, we got so close to glory. Oh shit. Parra says, just noticed the Green Lantern Kyle Rayner figures on my shelf. Yeah, they that's the only thing I like collective action figures really, is just I bought all the Green Lantern ones. There's a couple that I'm missing. I don't have like the Todd McFarlane era one or a couple other ones because I didn't like the design for them. But like all the old DC Direct ones, I have a bunch. Somebody also sent me my buddy Andrew also gave me like a Happy Meal toy one too. Pretty sick back in the day. Oh shit, here comes Ibrahim right here. What's up, bro?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, Doug?
Not much.
How you guys doing?
How you doing?
I'm chilling. Just plugging away. How you guys doing?
Doing okay.
Doing okay. Your volume's kind of low.
Is it?
Was that? Yeah, it's a little low.
Is low or loud?
Low. Like not. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot better.
Tight.
I can hear sultry tones once again.
Yeah, I don't know why this thing won't allow me to use my external mic as an input, but
Really?
yeah, it's only StreamYard.
That's so weird. Yeah, weirdly low energy right now. Sorry, I've been tired and I've been reading, and so I was like, I was telling Tony I posted the thing late because I had like fallen asleep, but I was like, I did like it all. I've been working nights, and then I woke up, I was reading it and just like getting a headache, and I take a nap. But I'm glad that we can do our show again. Have a chat about the world, what's going on in it.
Yeah.
We got a good topic for tonight.
What's that?
So we got a good topic for tonight.
I know. I'm pretty excited about this. I was pretty like, as you guys know, I was pretty exact about the chips that I have on our tier list for that.
It inspires a lot of conversation, I find, because I was telling my wife that we're doing this, and she.
Oh, really?
We just started talking about chips, and it was like the debate starts immediately, or like the discussion rather. And yeah. See, this is why it's a good subject.
You know what's cool about like just chips in general is like it really like growing up. It doesn't matter if you're broke or you're rich, it's like this commonality thing of like everybody, and especially Americans, they just had this like the consumption of chips just sort of goes across everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everyone loves chips.
And chips are tight because it's like a sort of bare minimum thing you can bring to like a gathering, but nobody's mad at you because you just brought chips. It's always like, oh, tight.
Yeah.
You brought chips. You know what I mean?
And the good kind too, not like the fucking Value Mart. Like,
yeah, that's the one thing. You got to bring the good ones. Yeah. I remember.
You think if you show up with like some store brand, people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
I
like you
remember
can-
because I grew up hella poor and like
Yeah.
remember getting invited to like an 8th grade graduation party that like all the like rich kids were putting on at this park in their ritzy neighborhood, and it was like everybody brings snacks, and so I brought like the cheapest bag of like plain tortilla chips and just try to like hide it in the fucking pile so that nobody would be like, who brought these, you know?
yeah, because it's like the other
When I
person's
was
bringing potato salad or something they actually made. At least you can do is like shell out the $2 extra,
when
$3
I
extra bucks.
Well,
They
I mean,
make a
this was
nice
when
food.
I was
But
like
yeah, when
13,
you're a
14.
kid,
Yeah,
yeah. But when you're an
13.
adult, I went to something a couple months ago where I was like, it was like a cookout, like a potluck thing. I'm like, I'm just gonna bring a real nice bag of chips, like high quality tortillas and like dip, you know.
Yeah.
when I was in
And
high
they all had
school,
all kind of fixings, So
when I was in high school, I was in this club, and it was like this the club, it was like a school club, but it was supposed to be for like all the kids that wanted to like have good shit on their transcripts so that when they like go to college, the people like the admissions like, oh, you were in this club, it's called a Friday Night Live. And it was supposed to be like you do community service, you do things that are like help the community, blah blah blah, right? Like, fundraise for the club, but also like, I don't know, keep kids out of, trouble or something. It was very weird, but I remember like it was the club that like all of my friends who were going to transfer to like good schools, they all wanted to be in it. So we went, but then the first day, like after the first meeting, the like the local, I mean the statewide club, like our representative for it, her mom got sick. So then she was like, "Oh, sadly I'm not going to be here, but you guys can still do the club. It'll be great. We still get funding from the statewide charter thing or whatever." And so we were all there like, "Well, what should we do? Like for the rest of the year?" And it was like, let's just do nothing. Like all we're here for is to make it look like we're good kids on college transcripts. They don't know that we didn't do anything. It was like the advisor that we had. It was our PE teacher it was our government teacher who like was just divorced and was like watching his kids on Fridays and was like, yeah, like I'll let you guys just do whatever you want. If you guys watch my kids for me on like the weekends that we do the clubs. And we're like, okay, sure. And then
Wait, so you were in a babysitters club, basically?
Oh, basically. I mean, it was like a room full of 30 kids, and then like 2 kids in the background that were like, just playing video games with us. But the point is that we used the money from the state thing to just buy pizzas every week. It was awesome. Like we would just order pizza. And then like we would have like group potlucks where it's like, okay, well, if this guy's bringing pizza, you bring this, you bring this. And since I was so broke, I'm like, oh, I'll bring some soda. I had no shame in just bringing like 3 liters of Shasta Cola every week, every month. I was like, yeah, I'll bring the soda. Don't even worry about it, guys. And it was just the cheapest shit I could get. It was awesome.
See, I feel like store brand soda or like Shasta, like it tastes just like the other stuff, right? But like chips are like growing up, my mom used to get us these like fake ass Doritos.
Mm-hmm.
They were like some like I don't remember what brand they were, but you got them at Winco, which is like the bargain store, and they were
like
just
pre-stale,
like
huh?
They were like, you know how Doritos are like crispy and airy, like you can bite into like a bubble, like a fried bubble of chip. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like these were just never crispy. They were like dense, right? Mm-hmm. And they didn't have the right crunch and shit. And then the cheese powder was fucking gross. And like my sisters and I used to have a competition to see who could get the one that looked and tasted the most like an actual Dorito in our like bowl when we'd like divvy them up. We'd be like, this one's cheesier. No, this is the cheesiest one. And like that's how fucking busted. Yeah. So that's the difference to me between like store bought or store brand and like
I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I experienced those.
Our boy Don says I still miss the Aldi brand black cherry soda. We didn't have Aldi, but
yeah,
some of those like sometimes like the store brand sodas go harder. But you're right, never chips.
Yeah, chips were always like
We had RC. RC Cola was the one that was
RC,
around.
yeah, Royal Crown. That was
Yeah.
a classic. That wasn't store brand though. That was just like another brand that was just cheaper.
Just cheap, yeah.
Yeah. I always thought it was fancier. Like when I was a kid. Like I thought this is like good soda, you know? I don't know why.
RC? Yeah, no, it was same.
I guess because it was like not one of the common ones. Like it was more rare, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, chips, you're right though. Like there's like especially growing up too, us being like so like being so broke, it was like you could just throw it with any kind of meal that my mom would make, you know? And that was like a part of dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'd be like we're making, like my mom would just get like some chicken. She'd be like, oh, and here's some chips. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was like
it's like your carb, you know?
Yeah, right. So anyways, welcome to the show, everyone. I forgot to say it. New Cool Me, episode 21, the best comic podcast where we do not talk about comics. We also don't talk about politics. That's the other thing. It's a non-comics, non-politics podcast. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Ramon Villalobos, joined as always by Tony Gregori. Sorry.
It's all right. Hey.
No, that's Toner Gregory from now on, dude.
that's fucked up. And Ibrahim Mustafa.
Hey man, just trying to make it for the white folks. Take it. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, they're trying to take it a lot lately.
You've been trying to take it from me, and I'm white. What's going on?
Yeah, so like part of the reason I've been so stressed is obviously because of this tariff shit, which we talked about a little bit last week, right? Last week we did the show right after Liberation Day, and you know, Trump enacted all these insane tariffs on everybody, and it lasted a week where like they weren't set to kick in until yesterday, and they lasted about half the day before he was pressured to get rid of them. By all accounts, he was just like, you know, again, this is not a politics podcast, but I've been doing a lot of reading. But by all accounts, it was the business people, the his advisors, and some like the looking at the markets. He was looking at everything tanking, but especially the dollar yields. And he got so shook by that he's like, all right, you know what? We're not doing this after all. We're going to have a 90-day pause. Was that?
The dollar yields meaning the strength of the dollar against other countries?
Yeah, it's basically like how much people invest in the dollar. It's like a lot of bonds and stuff.
Yeah.
Those were all showing like real negative signs, and that stuff is a little bit like that. So usually when stocks go down, that stuff doesn't like trade the same way it was doing it yesterday. And it was because people were just betting against the dollar, basically, from what I understand. Yeah. And it was like people thought that it could be China dumping all of their shit. But I don't think it was, based on just the reading that I was doing. But it's really interesting. I was talking about this with my friend of mine. Like, I don't know anything about any of this stuff. Like, legitimately, like we've been growing up in sort of this like weird environment where the stock market, it affects our lives, but it doesn't affect us directly because we don't have stocks like you. And I don't know about you, but like I don't specifically, you know.
I don't. I do not.
I don't have money in the stock market.
I've not bought into the American dream on any level.
But it's so strange because like now it's this like weird like thing hanging over all of us, because it will affect us in profound ways when the market downturns, we head into a recession, inflation could go up, like all of these like indirect impacts of tariffs, not just like for us as like comic book artists or like just Americans or whatever, but just like broadly of like the way businesses are moving, you know. I watched this story today about this woman who she's a business owner, and she sells like just like products for like babies. I'm not even sure what they were, but she just got a deal with Walmart, right? Like last year, she had like Walmart accepted her as part of their like she's like a vendor
like
for
a
them,
brand affiliate or whatever,
right?
Like, yeah.
So she had been planning this this big shipment to come in from China. Well, it was supposed to come in, and instead of it being like 80 grand, it was set to be like 200 grand. You know, and she's like, I just don't have that money, based on what the tariff rate was. You know, and that was before today. They realized, oh wait a minute, like we did our math wrong, because while Trump dropped all the reciprocal tariffs on everybody, but Mexico, Canada, and China, that all three countries are three biggest trading partners. The Chinese one, they just keep adding onto it, because it's become clear that this was always about a trade war with China directly, right? And my only hope on this like situation being resolved is that Trump doesn't have the stomach for it, and he backs down the same way he backed down from these reciprocal tariffs. And you know, there's good reason to indicate like why that might happen, but who knows how long it'll take. And the longer
I
it
know, man.
takes,
It's
the
because he's
more,
a bitch. That's why.
right. The longer it takes, just the more damage, like long term, is being done to the health of the economy. Is how I understand it. But like the, you know, the same way, like it was funny because me and Tony, we've been like, you know, sharing articles and like videos about this back and forth on the side, and we both kind of predicted like the backtrack, not the day of or like the day before, but we were like, this is just unsustainable. There's no way this lasts. And I kind of feel the same way about the Chinese tariffs, except for like it's just about who like it's just two stubborn countries. Neither of them wants the cave first. So it's an interesting dynamic, but it's just like financially ruinous to small businesses. And
well, you know, China knows, I feel like, how to play Trump, so they'll like, you know, eventually we can give him an out ramp and he'll just take it because that's what he does, and we'll make them feel like the winner if they feel like for them it's more beneficial to end it, you know.
Their point of view is that they've been in a trade war with America for the last 8 years, not just 1 year, not like a month, not a couple days. Like they've been getting tariffed by Trump since his administration. So they're like they've been working since then for this moment, right?
Yeah.
So Trump goes, you know, Trump is so dumb that when they announced that the tariff rate on Chinese imports was going to be 125 yesterday, they forgot the extra 20% tariffs. They're like, oh, actually, it's 145. After like CNBC asked, like, oh, we noticed that you said 125. Did you mean 145, or this 20 get dropped? And they're like, oh, my bad. Yeah, it's 145. Like they forgot. They're so dumb. They forgot to add 20 percentage points. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not that it really matters.
There were reports that he was literally just like pointing at stuff, going, "That one." You know what I mean? Like there was no rhyme or reason to it.
The numbers are just like arbitrary to them. Like what's the difference between 10% and 25%? Like, well, like there's no strategy in it. It's just how can I inflict the most damage at once to try to like gain leverage to make people bend. But like it's different between fighting one trade war between fighting like you versus the entire world all at once. Like it's just stupid, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that the tariff diehards in the administration, Peter Navarro, Howard Lutnick less of a true believer. They both seem to have been defeated in favor of like Elon Musk and the Scott Bassett specifically, and all the like the big business people. So like if they're already winning, then I don't see why they wouldn't keep winning like their way in the White House. But you know, again, remains to be seen. It's just
what's amazing is how many experts there are who don't pay attention to anything, who are like, oh, these are actually good. No, it's what it's going to do. Is, oh, really? Oh, okay. I was joking online. I was like, if he pissed in their mouths, they'd be like, no, this is actually really good because what it's going to do is boost my immune system. And like, also, like, urine is sterile. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
because read a book, but also like he's rich, and so like he's been having like he's got different and better enzymes than like the average person. So that's actually going to fortify my kidneys. It's like he's
I'm
pissing in your mouth,
actually
stupid.
gonna get some of his business acumen. It's gonna
Yeah.
But then you know what
go
happens when
quickly.
Trump stops pissing in their mouth? They go, "Aha! See,
See, I
Trump's
told
plan
you
all
he
along
wasn't.
was to
Yeah.
stop, was to not give
Exactly.
me piss in my mouth." And it's like, see, he wins again. It's like he literally can do no wrong, and
Yeah.
it's just cult behavior.
See, you all panicked for nothing.
Yeah. See, I told you he wouldn't keep pissing in my mouth, dummy. Like, dude, what?
So
You
like
said it was good.
economists and the stock market and everything, like people whose job it is to fucking deal with money and stuff, they panic for nothing too. You're saying but you got all the answers.
Yeah. When he starts pissing again, I'll open my mouth.
Yeah,
I'll be there to catch it.
you and your Crocs, you know everything.
They do
Dog
wear
said,
Crocs.
all I
don't
know
they?
is my beloved penguin meat is too expensive now.
Oh damn!
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Sorry.
He put a tariff on what, like an island that was
Yeah, it was like Bird
just
McDonald's
penguins.
Island. And it was
there's nothing but penguins on it.
yeah. I guess the idea there was like they were saying, oh well, China could just set up a thing there and then ship them from there, so it's technically not from China.
Trump
But
probably
it's
thinks
like,
McDonald's comes from there or something.
So it was 4D chess all along.
no, I mean it was just stupid, but it was, you know, they're just tariffing like random shit.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, you never know. But it's so weird though, because like I've been so sort of like, I don't know if you could tell, but I've been just like so invested in this, not invested in the stock market, just invested in how this is going to play out, that like I don't want to overreact to it, because I don't want to be like look like Chicken Little to people who I'm like, this is really bad, this is dangerous, you know. And then when like something like yesterday happens where they like hit the eject button and they, you know, mitigate some of like the major harm in the short term, then it's like, oh, well, see, you were wrong again. Like we talked about this before. Like you can't.
It's only happening because people are panicking about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that's the only reason it's changing in the first place. So these people who try to be like, oh, you're overreacting, they don't even understand the most basic fucking, the way any of this plays out. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, just having Trump as president is dangerous. Like every day is like
right.
Yeah,
something volatile and horrible can happen, and you know, you just kind of have to accept that's what we have to live with right now. You know.
Then when what happens then too is like, you know, I go to the store or whatever just to get like some shit, and it's just like it feels so weird. Like do they all not know? You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
They might be thinking the same thing about you, you know? Like, does this guy realize what's going on? You know? Not all of them. I'm sure some of them are just like walking around in their own.
I think most people are, though.
I don't know how many people actually pay attention as much as we do. I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
I think maybe just where I live is kind of like affected my perception then, because around here it's like it's very people are political around here. It's like
I went to a zoo yesterday and up in Washington, and it was spring break, and we didn't know that. So there's all these families and moms with their kids and stuff there. And it just was really like, there's not a single person here thinking about any of this right now. You know, it was just like, everybody's like, Jeremy, come back here, go get your sister. You know, like kids screaming and shit. Like those people have like so much going on revolving around their children that they don't have time to like think about this shit like we do, I think, you know?
Right. Yeah, 100%. That's, I mean, you know, that's been my thing for a long time, is like even people like that, like some of them will have even voted for Trump because they're like, it affects their pocketbooks on some level. And those people are like not diehard MAGA believers. They just don't know because they're not engaged with it. But
yeah, it's so wild to me to see that and just be thinking like, you guys, you have no idea, do you? Like you,
right?
You know, because like I feel like I live in a town like Tony until I go outside, and then I'm like, oh right.
Like, yeah, I I never overestimate how many people are really attuned to what's going on. They're reactive to situations. They're never like leading the charge on any sort of thing. You know what I mean?
I did talk to a guy yesterday who had an electric truck, like a Ford Lightning, and it's like an F-150, but it's electric. And he had the hood open and like he's getting tools out of the hood. I was like, "Oh, is that electric?" And he was like, "Yeah." Because I thought the motor was still under the hood, but I guess it's like somewhere else or maybe tucked in there more. But I was like, "Oh, you didn't want one of those goofy Cybertrucks?" And he was like, "Nah, man." He goes, "I didn't even want this one, but like you get a rebate and like blah blah blah." And I was like, "But how are you liking it though?" And he goes, "No, it's not bad." He goes, "I like not paying for gas." And I was like, "There you go,"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, we were talking about getting an electric vehicle, but with the tariffs now." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I was about to get a family vehicle, but he's like, they don't really want people to prosper right now." And this is a guy who was like blue collar. He was out there working. He was in the park working on like building something for the city. I don't know if he's a subcontractor or what. But this is just a dude with a truck who I was talking to, and like he was like, "Yeah, no, they don't really." So I mean, like you said, I think that was more of a reactive thing, right? Like he wanted to buy something. Now is not a good time because of this, and at least he knows why.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, yeah, I think people broadly know about, like, they'll hear about it in like the 6 o'clock news, and that's
Right.
like that's what I wish is like I could consume this like that, where like all of my day is like normal doing shit where it's like not engaged with the shit, and then maybe I'll turn on 6 o'clock news and be like, oh wow, that's what's happening, that's crazy, and then go
Yeah.
about my day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would be such an ideal situation. Then like when I wake up, I check like, oh, what's going on? You know what I mean?
The people,
Like
I guess people still do
on one
that.
hand, I envy that. On the other hand, it's like it's probably better to like feel informed, I guess.
Yeah, I
People
definitely
still like
limit my. Oh, go
people
ahead,
still
Tony.
like people still like do that. Come home, check the 6 o'clock news. I mean, I know they did when I was a kid, but they didn't have the internet, so it was like the only place you could get that stuff.
I think
I
there's
guess
probably a
so
lot
much
of.
out of touch with that, you know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of holdover from like, because like my mom would come home from work and she'd be like, "I want to watch the news,"
Yeah.
and we would all want to watch like step by step reruns or
Mhm.
whatever, and it's like.
Well, if it's not the news, it's they look at TikTok or they'll see on their phone something, but they're
Well, that's
not
what I'm
like,
saying. I wonder how many people like carry that habit over from their parents
hmm,
or not. Like I genuinely don't know, but I wonder if that's like we're the last generation of people whose parents did that, probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just mean, Tony, that they engage with politics in the like,
Yeah.
in it's not like it's not a huge part of their media diet. It's just like a small allotment, just so that they know vaguely what's going on, and then they just
Yeah.
move on about their day.
My sister's a
Yeah,
teacher, and every time I call her, she has like MSNBC on in the background, you know.
yeah, that's not
That's
most
how
people.
she. No, I mean, but like that's when she's home. But when she's at work, she has no, she's not on the phone checking to see what's going on. So like, I'll talk to her, and I'll have to be like, "Do you realize this is happening?" And she'll have no idea, even though she'll have MSNBC
Yeah,
like
I think
on all
to your
day. So
point, a
like,
lot of people wait until they do watch their source for it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
but yeah, I try to filter when I look at it so I don't derail my day. That's something I'm doing differently this time around.
I need to be better about that now.
Yeah, because it doesn't change that it happened, and it doesn't. There's nothing I can do about it now versus later
Right.
anyway. So
Yeah, there's been moments where like something crazy will happen in the news, and I'll I'll get anxious about it, and I'll freak out about it, and I'll be obsessively looking at updates about what's going on. And then I'll talk to like Justin, who's got kids, he's working. And he'll be like, "Oh, that's interesting. I think I heard about that." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I did too." But it's like it will have been like what I have been obsessively looking at all day. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah,
like how it affects our lives is exactly the same ultimately. But
right.
I dump so much of like my time and emotional energy into like trying to comprehend it, and it's ultimately just burnt up energy that I'm never going to get back, you know?
Yeah.
But you want to do a chip tier list, or you want to do news first?
Let's do news and then we'll dive into the chips.
Okay. Scientists are intrigued by strange tunnels under Africa and the Middle East. In the deserts of Africa and the Middle East, scientists have discovered tiny tubes that appear to have been made by something alive. I love that they don't know what, though. In a press release, go ahead.
That's the sandworms, bro.
That's exactly what I was thinking. They thought that shit was a game. The sandworms are really out there. The Mujahideen, is that what his name is? Is that how you say that?
Mujahideen is like a Muslim warrior for God kind of
really?
thing.
Shut up.
So Rocky Rambo 3 is dedicated to him.
Yeah, I think you're combining Muad'Dib and Lisan El Gaib.
Oh, okay. Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout to both entities. The Mujahideen were the Rambo.
They're like freedom fighters and
in Afghanistan. Oops. Nissan Al Gaib. Okay. Relax, take it easy. We all make mistakes. We were surprised. In a press release, researchers from Germany's Johannes Gutenberg University, Mainz, described their surprise upon finding these bizarre tubular tunnels in marble and limestone. We were surprised, explained Cees Pasteur, who first found the tunnels in Nambia 15 years ago. This isn't news. This is 15 years old. Because these tubes are clearly not the result of geological process. In the new paper published by the Geomicrobiology journal, Pasteur and his colleagues described the bizarre physical properties of the weird tubes they found, first in Nambia, then Saudi Arabia and Oman, both located thousands of miles to the east. These microburrows, as they're called, are generally about an inch long and about half a millimeter wide. These are like the tiniest holes ever, dude. What are we talking about? Well, wow, we found some tiny holes. Who gives a shit?
Like, I feel like my reaction would be like, I don't know, dude, it's probably a bug or something. And then we just go on our day. You know what I mean? Like,
they're like, we should really study which bugs, though. It's like, no, you shouldn't.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Let them do what they do, and you do something interesting. Don't worry about them.
Damn, what's all these bugs?
Putting down into rocks that scientists like Pasteur have long studied, clusters of these tiny tunnels have been exposed by erosion. When analyzed, the tubes revealed a fine calcium carbonate powder, which may have been left over from microorganisms that burrowed into the marble to act as its nutrients. While the current hypothesis suggests that something living made these weird little tubes in the desert marble, researchers are baffled as to what kind of tiny organisms it may have been. We don't currently know whether this is a life form that had become extinct, Pasteur said in a press release, or if it is still alive somewhere. Yeah, I guess it's hard to say because they're just tiny little rock dwellers. Interesting. I read that there was new holes found there, and I thought sandworms. This is just like little rockworms. Not that I thought big sandworms. They're telling me little rockworms. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those aren't even like tremors. They're like, you know.
Adam Sagov says, "Hey guys, shout out to my guy Adam."
What's up, Adam?
What up?
I heard he hung out with Justin the other day, our dog.
Nice, lucky.
Okay.
Scientists say there may be life on the moon. So here's the question: does this matter if it's tiny microbiology? If they're like little rock dwellers, you don't care, right?
If it's the same little worms that carved those holes, I don't give a shit.
I got bad news for you.
I do. Yeah, if they're on the moon, I care.
Bro, we didn't even go there, dude.
The dark nooks and crannies of the lunar surface might just harbor life, according to new research. In a preprint study presented in the 56th Lunar and Planetary Science Conference last month, scientists proposed that permanently shadowed regions of the moon, or PSRs, permanently shadowed regions, have the right conditions to shelter microbial life forms, microbial life forms.
That's it right there.
I hate that word. Which could have profound implications in our efforts to explore the Earth's craggy satellite. Some PSRs haven't seen sunlight in billions of years due to the slight tilt that the moon has on its axis. That's not news.
Until I was a man.
That's not news, but what is surprising is that these lightless voids could have also been sanctuaries from deadly UV radiation too. In space, microbes are typically killed by high heat and ultraviolet radiation. So all those little microbes were like, let's just go where there's no radiation. Smart.
Yeah.
Let's dig into little rocks. That's really smart of those little microbes. But like,
amazing actually that they're on the moon.
But what have they done with all that time though? They didn't even evolve into like a cool life form. It's kind of like not what we would do on Earth, because we're really about that like sort of grind set mentality. Like we were little microbes and we decided let's be big fucking things. Let's be human beings.
I appreciate that they just took their foot off the gas.
You know what? We might all be happier as just microbes. That's the thing. Yeah. It's like every day we're out here stressing about shit, trying to work, trying to do stupid shit. These little microbes are just like eating rocks and hanging out in space. I feel like they have it made.
Dude, I would trade everything to be a microbe. Not to worry about anything.
You're the least microbial of my friends, though, Ibrahim. I think you'd have a hard time.
In space, however, the PSRs are very cold and very dark, and as a result, they are one of the most protective environments in the solar system for the kinds of microbes that are typically present on spacecraft. In other words, PSRs could act as a freezer, preserving the microbes for years, preserving being the key word. To be clear, those microbes cannot metabolize, replicate, or grow here, but they likely remain viable for decades until their spores are killed by the effects of vacuum. Wait, that sucks. So they're saying there is life on the moon, but it's all like cryogenically frozen until they get burned to death by UV rays.
Bro.
Okay, they're just wasting time.
That's what I'm saying.
They had their moment in the sun.
Not yet, though, technically. That's what...
Yeah, they're ready for it.
The organic molecules that make up their cells likely would persist far longer. The chance of contaminating the lunar surface with Earth germs has always been a top concern for scientists. Really? That's the concern?
We don't care about that.
Oh, what? We can't go to the moon. What if we bring our germs there? Okay, and? So
Bro,
what?
the moon would be lucky to get our germs. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah.
We got those rise and grime hustle culture germs, dude. They got these whack-ass, lazy sleep germs. The chance of contaminating the lunar surface with Earth germs has always been a top concern for scientists. Beyond ethical and philosophical considerations, there's a practical case for ensuring that we don't ruin the data we collect in our quest to deepen our understanding of the lunar environment. One item on the checklist, PSRs, which have seen a surge in scientific interest in recent years. In fact, NASA's Artemis program is targeting a landing near the lunar South Pole, where the enduring shadows cloak the landscape. One PSR, the Shackleton crater, is even being considered as a potential landing site. The PSRs could serve as a microbial, fuck that word, freezer. However, then any contamination that humans do persists for decades and more, far longer than other regions on the moon, setting back lunar ambitions there for generations. The chance that there is already terrestrial micro contamination in the PSRs is low, but not zero, Morse told Universe Today. Several spacecraft have impacted within or near the PSRs. They all did at a high speed. Past research by others has suggested that small numbers of spores can survive simulated impacts into regolith-like materials. If any microbes survived those impacts, they would have been widely dispersed. Okay. Oh wow. Yesterday, NASA is saying that a city killer asteroid. Oh, go ahead.
Sophie says microbes don't have tariffs. She's right.
Oh my God, that's so true.
That's a good point.
He said, I just hope the medical science can cure me. says Adam. That's true. Shout out to medicines and scientists.
Yeah, science rocks.
Sophie asks Ibrahim, why do you hate science so much?
I don't hate science. I hate dumb science stories.
Speaking of dumb science stories, that city killer asteroid that has surprised scientists yet again with its unusual shape, and it could smash right into the moon. We don't even have to read this. Let me tell you something. There ain't no cities on the moon, so it's not a city killer.
No, it's a microbial killer.
It's that one that they were like, oh yeah, 3% it could hit us in April.
Yeah.
And then it dropped to 0. There's no chance.
No chance.
That's the thing. I feel like all these stories are always like a bait and switch. They're always like, scientists may have found life on, and then it's like, could aliens exist? And it's like, well, not exactly. Scientists say that this, worm shit from 50 million years ago stayed preserved. Could indicate that there was once like a tiny microbe that lived on the moon or whatever. It's like, I mean, that's cool. Like, it is cool, but it's like, I just feel like they're always trying to hype it up and gas us up and make us go.
How does that affect the cost of How does it affect the cost of eggs?
Eggs
Right,
are up, baby.
Eggs are up.
Eggs are up, dog.
How am I
eggs
supposed to get stuff from China right now?
Yeah, bro. Can't get my toys, my figures. What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. We actually got eggs at the store for the first time in weeks.
Did you?
Yeah, like we've been able to get them from other stores, but from our local like Kroger store,
yeah,
they haven't had them for a long ass time, or they have them and you can't buy, because we'll like order online and then pick it up.
Oh, I see.
And they just like won't do that for you. Like it had to be in store if you were gonna find them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It turns out that humanity's scientists found a 12-year-old monument that turns out may be humanity's oldest calendar. Where do you think they found it?
12 years old?
Sorry. Did I say 12 years old?
Yeah.
12,000 years old.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I must have
there's older ones than 12.
Africa?
In Turkey.
Oh, God.
An ancient monument discovered in Turkey was that?
He said, "Oh God," because he's Greek.
The Turks, they got you, dude. The Greeks think they invented everything, but the Turks have an older calendar. An ancient monument discovered in Turkey may just be an ancient What this sentence is crazy. An ancient monument discovered in Turkey may just be an ancient monument. Yeah, dude. It may.
You know what? It's not even the science. It's the stories. It's the
stories about the science.
Yeah.
But if its markings are what experts think they are, it might be the world's oldest solar calendar. In a study published in Time and Mind, based on the work of researchers from the University of Edinburgh, experts write that markings in the Göbekli Tepe in southern Turkey, a temple-like archaeological complex filled with intricately carved symbols indicating its markings of a solar calendar that tracks days, seasons, and years. By analyzing the symbols carved into the pillars, the team believes that every V could represent a single day, given that the pillar featured 365 days. And among those, the summer solstice in particular was highlighted with a V worn around the neck of a bird like a beast meant to represent the summer solstice constellation during that time. It continues, but you want to see what this looks like?
Oh, they're just wearing necklaces and stuff, man. That's what Turkish people do.
See, and here's the thing too. It's like this just in, people cared about what day it was, dating back thousands of years. Like,
you got to admit though, this one looks cooler than normal old monuments that we find.
Yeah.
Like normally we find ones and we're like, that's literally nothing. You're telling me that they have a fortress and that is just a rock. This is like
it is interesting.
They made a thing.
It is interesting that people were trying to figure it out and that they had different ways of doing it, right? But my thing is just like ultimately we know what we have a globally agreed upon. Not even because like there's the Chinese New Year, like there's a lunar calendar that's different in the East than here in the West, and like even like the Muslim calendar is based on the moon. Right. That's why like Ramadan is a different month every year, a different time, So it's like even we still don't agree on we still have daylight savings here. In some places, like Arizona, like doesn't do it anymore, and like we vote to not do it, and then we still do. It's just like I don't know that there's much merit to understanding like how they did it back then, because I don't think it's going to lead us to like discover anything new about ourselves and how we do things now necessarily. You know what I mean? Like I'm probably wrong. There's probably some kind of
Yeah.
Galileo did it this way, and so this changes everything we know about it or whatever. But I don't know. It just seems like I'm not saying there's no merit to it or that it's a waste of time, but it's just kind of like
But if you're like stuck on the island like Tom Hanks and Castaway, that's the way you could like keep track of like what day of the week it was. Other than that, like
I guess, or I could just scratch lines on a rock.
yeah,
You
there you
know?
go. Just figure what day it is and just. But you already have the knowledge of knowing that what day it is. They're starting from scratch. So that's actually the first calendar.
The calendar is good.
Oh, I just said it could be. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of doing a bit, but honestly, like,
yeah. No,
that's
it's
like,
I agree with you. Half of it. I agree with the serious part of it.
The calendar's preoccupation with day, night, and seasonal changes may have sparked anew with the world-changing comet strikes, one that experts believe occurred roughly 10,850 BC and helped contribute to a mini ice age that eliminated numerous species. It appears the inhabitants of Göbekli Tepe were keen observers of the sky, Martin Sweatman, lead study researcher at University of Edinburgh School of Engineering, said in a statement, which is to be expected given their world had been devastated by a comet strike. The event might have triggered civilization by initiating a new religion and by motivating developments in agriculture to cope with the cold climate. Possibly,
that guy got bullied into doing that for a living. Sweatman, he got picked on, bro.
rough going out there in Edinburgh.
That is crazy, though. What he's saying is like if there was a comet strike and it killed like a bunch of people in like 10,000 BC, and these people like saw that and they were like, let's not get hit by, like, these are the opposite of people that just barely check the news. They're like, let's really make sure that we don't get hit by a comet again. Let's just be as sure as we can be,
Yeah.
Possibly their attempt to record what they saw are the first steps toward development of writing millennia later. The carvings also track cycles for both the moon and the sun, which predate other calendar finds by this type by many millennia, the group wrote. By tracking the movements of meteors and Earth, the ancient research may have also shown for the first time that comet strikes. Go ahead.
This is a cannabis bar right here. Many millennia by tracking the ancient lunar. That's crazy. That's what you know what? I found the value in it.
Don in the chat says, I just want to know if any of their ancient pets also hated Mondays.
By tracking the movements of meteors and Earth, the ancient research may have also shown for the first time that comet strikes happen more when Earth's orbit crosses the path of circling comet fragments, something modern-day researchers have proven. To help support this theory, the team points to another pillar at the site, appearing to picture the Tauride meteor stream lasting 27 days, which was quite possibly the source of the ancient comet strike. The researchers believe that the temple carving showed the ancient civilization was recording dates precisely, noting how the movement of constellations across the sky differed based on what time of year it was. It would be 10,000 years before the Hipparchus of ancient Greece documented the wobble in Earth's axis in 150 BC, making this newfound calendar well ahead of its time. Shout out to being hella ahead of your time, though. I know how those Turks feel.
Isn't that a dance?
But I think it's cool. I think it's cool as shit that they were doing this. This is the first old news story that I really can get behind, and it told us about comet strikes. That they were like, it would have been so crazy if you're just like a weird old like ancient civilization person. You're chilling, and like these fucking rocks from the sky keep fucking up your whole shit, and you're like, guys, let's build a temple. Let's try to get to the bottom of this.
How often was it happening?
Let's figure it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because comet strikes are like so rare, right? So like, did it happen once and they were like, fuck?
Well, in the story I just read, they were saying that they would strike quite a bit because they were in a path of like a whatchamacallit?
Like an asteroid?
Yeah. It said it happens more often when Earth's orbit crosses the path of circling comet fragments, which is crazy. Funnier story.
I wonder who they blamed for that.
The world's best yodelers aren't found in the high, pristine mountaintops of the Alps. Instead, Instead, scientists say they can be found in trees, jungles, and rainforests across the globe. It's because the world's best yodelers are monkeys. A study published this week in the journal Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society B found. Once thought to be exclusive domain of humans, researchers from Anglia Ruskin University in England and the University of Vienna in Austria recorded and studied the calls of various monkeys at Lasende Verde Wildlife Sanctuary in Bolivia. Primates studied, including the black and gold howler monkey, tufted capuchin, and the black-capped squirrel monkey and Peruvian spider monkey. Monkeys, scientists found, have a secret yodeling weapon. The primates possess special anatomical structures in their throats called vocal membranes. This is a crazy story. Like, all these scientists were like, what if we just saw like how monkeys yodel? That'd be sick. Let's see if they're the best. And then they decided, you know what? They are.
Move over, Hank Williams.
These membranes disappeared from humans through evolution to allow for more stable speech. These membranes allow monkeys to introduce voice breaks to their calls at the same rapid transitions in frequency heard in yodeling, but at much higher octaves than humans. They must also be like incredible rappers if they could speak. They could do like Bone Thugs and Harmony rapping, just hella fast. They could be like Twista.
The breath control is crazy.
Dude, they're insane in the membrane, dude. That's wild.
They learned that primates use these yodels to differentiate themselves and communicate with others, much like humans who used the high, low, deep throat pitches in rural mountain ranges as a form of communication. Anyways, this story goes on for way too long to be about like monkeys make noises. Yeah, I know. I've been to a zoo.
Speaking of Ibrahim, did you go to the zoo the other day?
Yeah, man, I got to feed a tiger, dude.
That's sick. What was the zoo experience like?
So my sister-in-law works at this zoo, and she like took us on like a friends and family tour. So basically, we got to go like behind the scenes, like where all the handlers go, and we got to feed some lettuce to this thing. I don't remember what the species is called, but it's like a smaller water buffalo. And it's so tight. They called her in, and she just came running because she knew she was about to get a snack. And so we fed her lettuce, and then she like the zoo handler like started scratching her side, like her neck and stuff through the cage. And so she just like turned to her side and was just eating it up. And then when the woman stopped, the little buffalo like turned and looked at her like, "Why did you stop?" So she, okay, sorry. So she kept going. She was like, "Yeah, that's what's up." Like, and then we got to go to where the tiger was at, and it's like an open, like the tiger paddock or whatever, right? It's where the tiger kicks it, like its habitat. But there's like an access door, like a grate, like a big gate kind of thing. And so they called her over, and same kind of thing. She just came trotting up like it was, she was a house cat getting a snack or getting a treat or whatever. She comes running up to the thing, and then we had like a spray bottle they gave us that was filled with milk. And like she was like, "Yeah, so stand here, and then have your hand like 6 inches from the gate thing." And she's right up next to it. So I was like 2-3 feet away from a tiger, just with like a protective gate, between us, just squirting milk into its mouth. And it was just like, dude, it was wild.
Were you feeling its energy? Were you feeling
it was such an incredibly beautiful animal. Like, it was stunning how beautiful this giant cat was. And like, you see him in TV and movies and stuff, but like and even at the zoo when you're like 50, 100 feet away from it, but being like 3 feet away from a tiger was wild. Like, it was crazy.
Bro, you're around me all Rose City Con. What are you talking
about? That's true.
This motherfucker really thinks he's damn Tony the Tiger.
It was great though, man. It was really cool. And then like speaking of growing up poor, not getting food at functions and stuff, you know how like anytime you got to go to something like that, like a little amusement park or whatever, you weren't getting that food.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting those hot dogs or the nachos or the cotton candy or whatever because it's too expensive, right?
Too expensive, man. We can get that at home. I
Yeah,
get 8
exactly.
pack of hot dogs for that. Like, we're not.
Exactly. But your boy is an adult with no children. So I was like, I'm eating some of this food. And they actually the prices weren't too crazy, but also they had like vegetarian options. So I got like a pulled barbecue jackfruit burger like sandwich.
That sounds great.
It was incredible. It was I couldn't believe that was just like an option at the concession stand, you know. So yeah, it was tight. It was a good day.
That's
hella sick.
That's
I when I was in a community college, we went to the zoo, me and my friends, because I was in a physical anthropology class, and we had to go and like look at monkeys and like apes and monkeys and write about them. Like it was one of the requirements for the class. So we went to Sacramento, and I wrote about the apes, and it was really annoying because when we got there, it was like the day they were paving the ape part of the zoo. And I was like, this absolutely fucks me, but we like snuck
apes.
in. What's that?
I said paving apes.
Nice. But we like snuck in as far as we could get close to the apes, like, you know, to see them. And you know, I wrote it, but I've always thought like zoos were kind of sick, even though like they're really fucked up in general, like the idea of them. But like going to them, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think they started out as like kind of a fucked up thing, right? But now
they're more like sanctuaries, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like a SeaWorld type situation.
No.
Or just pure exploitation.
Yeah, SeaWorld's disgusting.
Have you ever been?
SeaWorld? Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid.
Yeah, we went when I was younger.
SeaWorld in Orlando.
We went to the one in San Diego. And it was like, that's cool, man. Because Free Willy came out when I was a kid, so I'm like, that shit is sick, you know. But even then, I thought like it's better in the movie. Like I don't really need to see this in real life.
Yeah, it was always fucked up with the dolphins. They'd be like, "Oh, these things are so smart. They're like mammals. They're as smart as humans." And then you're like, "Well, why you have them pinned up in this fucking
tiny ass tank?"
Yeah. Just even as a kid, it's just like that doesn't seem right at all. Like. Yeah.
You know what's really crazy? This is a different topic. Is you know, all year they were like, all these people were like, you know, nobody's going to the movies. Nobody, like, the movies are, you know, they're on this like sharp decline. Like nobody's seeing anything. It must be because of, you know, I don't know. I feel like there were so many reasons, and it was like the reason was very obvious. Is like nobody cared about any of the movies they were putting out. You know what I mean? Like they just wanted to keep putting it on like other shit, and it's like it's probably just like the right movie hasn't come out. Have you seen that this like Minecraft movie is doing insane money?
I heard it was doing well. I assumed it would because the game is, you know, so ubiquitous. So
yeah,
it opened with 313 million worldwide for like the open. It's the third biggest opening weekend for Warner Brothers of all time.
Only behind what? Aquaman and.
For Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
Is it really? I think you're right.
Aquaman is like the highest grossing DC movie.
It opened higher than Barbie.
Oh wow. Well, you know.
Second after Batman v Superman.
Oh wow.
I imagine if you're a parent, you just take your kid to that for like 2 hours or however long it is, and the kid will just shut up and like watch it. Like
that was wrong. It was okay, it's third after Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2, and then Batman vs. Superman.
Oh, okay.
And then Barbie was after that. So this surpassed that.
That's wild. Yeah, well, Momoa, you know, he was also in Aquaman, so he's about to be... Warner Brothers is just going to see him as like a massive golden goose.
I see he's a producer on this too. He's listed as a producer on this Minecraft.
You know what's... You know why I bring it up though? What's so crazy about it is like when you apparently at these movies, there's lots of like teens, there's lots of children, and they just go nuts at this movie. Like they go watch it, and it's like You know how we'll be like old men and complain about like, like somebody was on their phone or whatever? That's the scene. Like you go there to be on your phone, to be loud, to be annoying. And the kids all
Oh
like, they
yeah,
know the lines that are coming up.
you couldn't pay me to go see that movie in the theater.
It's like their
I
little Rocky
consider
Horror
like
Picture Show.
that's what they're comparing it to. These are like they're doing like Rocky Horror Picture Shows with the movie. And I almost thought about like it would be kind of fun to go just to see what it's like, you know, just like as a anthropological experiment, you know, or like excavation of Zoomer culture. But I know that if I went, I would go to the theater with like 2 people in it, and like they would be just bored, and I'd be like, no, great, now I'm just here watching a Minecraft movie. Like if I could guarantee that there were going to be obnoxious kids there, it might be worth going.
Just for the experience. Yeah, I don't know. I would drive me insane.
Yeah, I
Drive me
couldn't do
insane.
it.
Couldn't do
There's
it.
apparently a viral chicken jockey scene, which I don't know what that means. You know, I've played a little bit of Minecraft myself. I'm a Minecrafter.
Well,
And
people say that about you.
yeah, but I don't even know what they're talking about.
I never
What was
played
really
it.
crazy was I was at the store. What's really crazy is I was at the store, and like behind me there was a cashier who was talking to the some mom and her kid. The kid had a Minecraft shirt on, so the guy who's like, you know, 20-something-year-old guy with like a beard, long hair. He's like, "Oh, are you guys gonna go see the Minecraft movie this weekend?" And they're like, "Oh, we saw it last night. It was so good." Oh, that's awesome. And the guy starts going, "Yeah, I grew up playing that game." And it like really was one of those moments where I'm like, God, I'm old as shit, dude. This guy who has like a full ass beard, you know, adult looking ass dude is like, I grew up with that thing that I remember coming out not that long ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I know this guy locally who's I'd see him at shows, and his 2 sons were like in elementary school, and they'd be like, and then I did this in Minecraft, and then I did this, and then I did this, and I'd be like, oh yeah, cool. Like I didn't know anything about it, right? And I just at my con table trying to work and hearing all about this game, and they're in college now.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, okay, damn, that's crazy. It's been that long.
So one of the accounts for the account for discussingfilm.net shared a 46-second clip with the lively reaction from audiences at the screening of the Minecraft movie. Footage posted shows several kids jumping up in their seats and throwing popcorn in the air as Jack Black's Steve character says, "Chicken jockey." Black says the line after seeing a baby zombie descend onto the back of a Minecraft chicken in a boxing ring. In the Minecraft game, chicken jockeys are child zombies that ride chickens. The clip then cuts to some kids being escorted out of the theater by the police. As they're walking up the aisle towards the exit, the moviegoers, likely teens as well, are recording the moment on their cell phones. They're also singing lyrics from the 1968 song "Nah Nah Nah Hey Hey Kiss Him Goodbye" from the band Steam. Is that just that, like, what is that song? You know that song? Is that just
Na,
the
na,
"Na
na,
Na Na
Na,
Na
na,
Hey Hey"?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Go back. Yeah.
That's like a thing that gets sung at, you know, they sing it like in the Senate sometimes when some
Oh yeah.
like a
No, they sing it
bill.
at Draymond when he gets ejected. Ramon knows that
Yeah,
song.
they used to do it in wrestling too.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't know that was from the band Steam.
And neither
The
did I.
phrase The phrase "chicken jockey" is taking on a life of its own, going viral on social media platforms like TikTok as young audiences continue to flock to the movie, uh, in hopes of witnessing pandemonium in person. So I guess it's like, remember when McDonald's had that Rick and Morty
Yeah,
sauce and like people were freaking
yeah,
out? It's becoming like
it's
that kind of sensation, I think.
right. Like, see if you can get
Like
kicked out by just acting a fool in the theater.
Yeah. We all film it, put it on social media.
Which is interesting
TikTok.
because McDonald's, they have a Minecraft fire sauce right now. And we were talking about how we used to like how movies and like these like fast food companies used to make like special menu items, you know? Not on the show though. We were talking about it just outside of the show.
Mhm.
And yesterday I got so excited because I was like, I'm gonna run to McDonald's real quick, and because I was like out and I needed something to eat for dinner real quick. So I just got like a 10-piece nugget, and they had a Minecraft flame never world flame sauce or something like that. or nether flame sauce. So I got it, and I was going to do a review here, but I don't know where I put the little hot sauce thing. Spoiler alert, it's not good. I was pretty disappointed by it because like we've talked about this before, and we'll talk about it again in like a few minutes. But I don't like spicy food at all. Like I don't like when food wants to attack me. It should do the opposite. It should want me to enjoy it, you know? So like for me, when a food is too spicy, like and it kicks into like biological responses of pain, it doesn't do anything for me, you know?
Yeah.
And but the thing is, sometimes food is so good that I'll like it despite that. Like I've eaten like top ramen that was like tapatía, like like chili lime flavored, and it's so hot, but I'm loving it, you know? So like yeah, I was disappointed by this sauce. I thought maybe they got one off, but they did not. You guys want to see one of these outsized reactions to the Minecraft movie?
Yeah, put that shit on. Let's see what these absolute lunatics are getting up to.
Okay, here, let me present. Let's see if we can
see what we missed out on by not having kids.
For real.
Yeah, right. Okay, here's one of them here. Oh my god. You know what?
Yeah.
Oh wait. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. God damn it.
I heard it.
You know what? Maybe I didn't need to go to see this movie.
God, that seems torturous.
So maybe you do need to go.
How
to
far
see
behind am I?
I thought you meant it was going to be like excited children. Those are like
adults. Those are like grown.
Yeah, those
like
kids
young
shave
adults.
and they drove there themselves.
Those are teens, yeah.
They know their social security numbers. They're not.
Some of them might have children of their own. Like
Yeah.
No, that's
an account with the handle. An account with the handle of the Kino Corner declared on X that seeing a Minecraft movie was the wildest theater experience of my life. The X user saw the film at Barton Creek Square AMC theaters in Austin, Texas. Most of the audience were middle schoolers, and they would clap and hoot and holler whenever one of the meme lines was said, or they would recognize something from the game, he wrote. They acted like it wasn't a movie, but a rock concert. It was a complete expression of a mix of genuine love for Minecraft and irony poisoning, and a result of pure chaos for 100 or so minutes. The Minecraft movie is also being referred to as a gamer version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, a campy 1975 musical known for encouraging audience participation, like dressing up, dancing, shouting, and shadow casts of fans acting out the film in its entirety. Movie theaters have
irony
also
poisoning is a new term for me. What is that? Just
it's like
meme culture is such a thing kind of deal. Like,
yeah, it's sort of like when people just, I think it's sort of like being black-pilled, you know? I think it's like being irony poisoned is just like, oh, I don't care about anything, everything's stupid, whatever. It says irony poisoning is the process or altered state wherein one genuinely echoes provocative statements of sentiments they once held ironically. Okay. It was like, oh, I love Rob Liefeld. Liefeld's so great. And then they're like, actually, I love Rob Liefeld. Liefeld's so great.
Yeah.
That's irony poisoning. Many such cases.
When he was like when Liefeld, yeah, no, never mind.
Wait, what?
I don't need to do it. It's all good.
Go ahead. Say what you're
People
gonna
said
say.
discretion is the better form of valor.
Yeah, no, let's move on.
Okay. Well, we can move on from the Minecraft story too. I was fascinated by it though. We should do our chips thing now.
Let's do it. I gotta run to the bathroom real quick. So you guys get that shit all set up. I'll be right back.
Chips.
Dio says jockey horror picture show. Oh my god. Okay, so while Ibrahim's gone, I'm gonna explain how that came about, because I think we were talking about it on the show last week, maybe, where I think Tony, you said we should do a chips tier list, and I was like, but then I was like, you know what, that might not be a bad idea. So then I started looking at if anybody had made a good tier list for chips, and nobody did. So then I made my own, and the qualifications for what chips were on the list were as such: it had to be a chip that was sold somewhat nationally. No regional chips. So like, I think there's like a lot of Utz, like that's not sold out here. So like, I'm not going to put that on the list, you know? Or like, you know, no, only like major brands, only chips, but also no chips that are like variant flavors that are like too niche. So like, if you go to the store, and me and Tony went to look at chips at the store, they had like, there are like dozens of kinds of like Flamin' Hot chips for even just like Cheetos. There's like
Flamin' Hot dill pickled Cheetos.
There's every version of a Flamin' Hot Cheeto you can possibly imagine, but we don't want that. We just want Flamin' Hot chips, or like Flamin' Hot Cheetos or whatever. So like, it's basically, these are the essential chips. They're, you know, there are going to be some that maybe were left off that maybe we shouldn't have. For whatever reason, but these were the ones that we decided on based on just, is it unique? Is it, you know, national? Is it a mainstay?
Yeah. And one thing I like, going to the store and staring at the chip aisle, I realized that we're not going to be able to have every chip on the tier list because there's just so many.
Right. Yeah. But you know, that's the interesting thing. We talk about tariffs and all that stuff. Like, American consumption is unlike any other like nation on earth, where there's almost like an expectation that you go to the store and there's like 50 brands of chips. That is like a uniquely American thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the English or whatever. They don't have different chips. They do, but they don't have like 50 versions, you know? And it's one of the things that is like, so, you know, when Trump does this tariff stuff and he like threatens the whole like sort of overconsumption economy that he personally like embraces and endorses, like he is part of that culture, like he is also like spitting in the eye of it by being like, no, we need an isolationist thing where like we only produce what we manufacture unless a company like, you know, bows down to us or whatever. But like, he, you know, he wants the production of like a North Korea or a Russia where they have less choices, not more choices. And I just don't think that like that gambit, his thinking,
that's un-American.
It's un-American. It's not going to play out like well for him in the long term, you know?
Dude, we're saying the chip aisle is the highlight of the grocery store for me. Like, I go in there and all the colors and choices and diversity within the chip aisle is like, we're going to be judging on dippability. I mean, I'm not, but that's just not a part of my equation. But
Dio says, "Are you judging on dippability?" It's kind of. We'll put it on. That'll be part of the conversation for sure. Para says America doesn't want that. Right? They don't want to go to the store. You remember that video that Tucker Carlson did where he went to Russia and he was like, "Look at how great it is. They have fresh bread," but it's like, yeah, they have a brand of bread, just one. And he's like, "It's so great. There's no choices at the grocery store." And it's like, that is not what Americans want. They want to go there and see 50 kinds of bread, you know? That is, like, I'm not even with that. Like, I don't even agree with that. Like, me personally, that's not how I live. But, like, that is the American way, is, like, you go to the store
rye bread.
and
They want wheat bread. They want
endless choices.
Yeah. They
And
want
this,
different
like, this shit
sourdough.
threatens that in a fundamental way that I don't think Americans really understand. Adam says, you go to the store and it's like Simpsons scene with Mr. Burns and ketchup. I don't understand that. I don't know that reference. I
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a Simpsons head like that, I guess.
I used to be. I can't. I'm sure I have seen that, but I can't think of the.
Dio, if you're in the chat, is Puerto Rico the same way where they have like a ton of different types of chips? Like, I have to imagine no, right? They're just like a couple brands or whatever. And same question for Para and Adam. Like, Adam, when you came to America, were you like, why are there so many fucking chips here? Like, why do they need this? Like, is this necessary? I'm throwing it out there because all three people in the chat right there are all from other countries, or so I'm fascinated. Because growing up in America, it's like the most obvious thing. Although when I was younger, growing up, it felt like there was only 4 or 5 brands of chips. Obviously.
When I was a kid, Doritos were like exotic. That was like, oh my god, Doritos. That's like, it's not Ruffles.
Yeah, it was whatever the store brand chips were. You know what I mean? Like, those were the flavors that I had access to. I knew there were more out there. Those were only when I went to somebody else's house. Para says, yeah, in Nigeria, definitely not like that at all. 2 or 3 max. So when you came here, though, were you like, where do I even start? Like, did you just resort to like whatever one was most familiar? Or were you like, you know what, I'm gonna try out this weird shit? Adam says, I didn't care, was too locked in on comics and original art. Okay, fair. Based. Dio says, let's say 50% less brands because we still have Walmart, but we're not getting all the niche seasonal stuff that you all get. Para says, yeah, the seasonal pumpkin spice XDD, no way, Jose. So here we go. So here's the tier list as created by me with some help from the boys when I said, hey, what am I missing that we don't have here? So here's our flavors. Here's our ranking system. We have God tier always at the top. We have very tasty. Mm-hmm. If it's at someone's party, I'm not mad. not really sure why they make this, but okay. And then last, this is basically edible cardboard. So we're gonna start out with baked Lay's potato chips. Or do you guys want to just look at this, take it in, offer some feedback?
I think we should start with the obvious.
Okay, yeah, let's start with the obvious. So the most obvious is Lay's Classic, right?
Lay's Classic, God tier.
You think God tier?
I put them at God tier.
I can't put it at God tier. I can't put it at God tier because there's better versions of that chip on this list. And like,
actually, that's a good point because a lot of times they're like too greasy and too small. So yeah,
they're way too greasy. They're too flimsy. You know what I mean?
The baked ones for me are God tier, but
really,
I know everybody will disagree with that one.
I'm sticking with my God tier, but it's.
I would put them at very tasty. It's an underrated
very
chip.
tasty.
Yeah, very tasty is acceptable.
Yeah. I would say that here's the thing. They're a great chip when you want to put it in a sandwich because they crumble so fast. You could smash that shit down. Now you have an extra texture.
They are often a little too dense though. Like you get, it's weird because you get like a bite and then they immediately crumble in your mouth.
Yeah.
Right. And then then they're just this dense thing that forms inside your molars, and you're like,
that's
not really what I wanted out of the chip. Yeah, you know what? Now that we're litigating this,
maybe if it's at someone's party, I'm not mad. Maybe it's
that's.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with God tier. Okay, I'm not going to let that. I'm not going to let go.
You know what's God tier? Ruffles potato chip, like Ruffles Classic.
Really interesting.
Yeah. Because
we haven't placed this one yet. So where is this one going?
I'm good with very tasty, or I'm not mad if it's at a party, but
we'll go to very tasty because I'm kind of right here, but Tony's insisted on God tier, so we kind of have to split the difference.
Because I just feel like, if ever I'm at the store and I want to grab a bag, but I'm not feeling anything spicy, and I just see it, and I'm like, oh, I can't go wrong with that. That to me is like the right reliability. And maybe that is very tasty when I think about it. When I talk about it out loud. That sounds like very tasty.
Yeah, it
So.
sounds like you're kind of settling, honestly, for those.
Yeah, it
when you
does
get
sound like
them.
you're kind of settling. I think we should move
Yeah,
it down
yeah,
to
you're
like
right.
instead of party.
You guys, we're
Did I
having
say
an
it out loud
identity
like that?
crisis over these chips, man. It's like, hang on a
Did I say
second.
it out
like
loud?
Tony,
Yeah.
he started talking and he like talked himself out of how good these fucking chips are. Actually, they're actually kind of mid. Actually, let's stick with that type of chip. Where do you put barbecue Lays?
Those. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I'm gonna say I'm not sure why they made this, but okay, because it's just
You're
too spicy.
tripping.
Yeah, I'm not
To
into
me,
those.
these are god tier. To me, these
See,
are the chip. This is.
I'm going very tasty, but they have the same problems as the original Lays for me.
They do have the same. They have similar problems, but they are so much more flavorful. The spices they put on there.
No,
are
I love
so
the flavor
much
of the. I love the flavor of the classic, but it's the consistency and how like they just kind of disintegrate after, and most of them like break down into nothing in the bag, and like
yes,
you know. But yeah, I'm going very tasty on those. I do love barbecue.
But
Lays,
Tony's
for sure.
going all the way down here, so it kind of does the same thing where it just ends up here by virtue of.
Fuck, we
like,
just went grocery shopping too. I would have been like, hey, let's get some barbecue Lays, but
That's they're good as fuck. They're good as hell. So there are two flavors of like god tier chips, or there's a few actually on this list for me. This was one of them because this is like my first choice if I'm getting a sandwich at a deli and I'm like, oh, I got to get a bag of chips. Give me the Lay's barbecue. You know what I mean? It's not overpowering. It's a perfect complement to a sandwich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit of flavor, but it's not like a Dorito or a Cheeto or something like that. It will be too flavor dominant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you know me though. I love barbecue sauce. I put that shit on everything. So like for me, yeah, I mean barbecue is it's got to be a notch up. I think that goes very tasty. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're god tier. I'm very tasty. Tony's not mad if it's he's why they make
he's not really sure why they make this.
Yeah.
That's which is insane to me.
That is, Tony, I've known you a long time. That is one of the craziest things you've ever said.
Those are so good. Those are so tasty.
I feel like I just said that like some actress was gorgeous and you were like, eh.
Sour cream and onion.
Sour cream and onion. That is very tasty.
I'm going very tasty.
Wow. Okay. So here's my thing with them. They are for sure, but they're like deceptive. Like they're sneaky, very tasty. Like I feel like if those three chips are here, which one are you grabbing? If you have classic,
it is the last one. You know what?
It's the last one.
It's the last one I'm grabbing.
It's the second one. Yeah, it's the second one for me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's the last one for me. But I'm like, it's also sick. It's really fucking good. But I'm like, like growing up, they would have those little like chip bag, like we would get those. And it's like, those would be the ones at the end. And it's like, okay, well, everybody's eating the good chips. I guess now I'm just going to like go hard on these sour cream and onions.
I do like them, but I can't put them above Lay's Classic.
Oh, wow.
That's how I feel about them. Tony, I don't know. What do you think?
We could always make another tier, by the way. If there's a thing that we need to like adjust for this.
I mean,
in between these two.
Yeah, let's add one between very tasty and I'm not mad if it's at a party, and we should make it like.
There's a thing too. Like I have to mention, getting older. Like when I was younger, like what I enjoyed, because like now if I'm at a party and I see like the sour cream or the regular, like I'll have a couple sour cream, but I can't handle too many of them. But like I feel like the classic is like for my middle-aged.
Yeah, I do like the more plain stuff. I think you gotta swap those.
Wait, you gotta put barbecue above?
No. You gotta put classic above the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, right here. So what is this tier then? This is like classic.
Yeah, it should just be classic. Yeah. There you go.
Classic, iconic, but
reliable, go-to, whatever.
Yeah, go-to, etc. Okay, I like that tier because I feel like there's going to be a couple of those in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've done those ones, let's do the baked ones. You said God tier.
For me, baked Lay's God tier.
I can't go with you on that one
because it solves the problem I have of the consistency of the chip.
Mm-hmm.
They're
For
crispy.
me,
You know what I mean? They don't
going
turn
very
into
tasty.
greasy little fucking like gobs of, you know. But yeah, I understand they're not everyone's.
To me, those are like
chip.
lesser Pringles. Like they're like non-stackable Pringles. They taste the same to me.
But see, Pringles to me are like a little, I don't know, they're almost like too thick. And the fact that they're so uniform is sus to me. Like I want them. I like the variation.
Hey, why are these chips conformist, bro?
That's what I'm saying. Like, are these made from like a liquid
where you're saying
mold?
very tasty? Because I almost want to go down to like, if it's at someone's party, I'm not mad. I'm a little bit like, why does this person have these baked potato chips at a party? But I'm like, I'm not mad at it.
They're God tier for me because they're also not too
Tony,
salty. I feel like the classic ones are too salty.
Tony, where are you going with this?
Very tasty. Very tasty.
I'd say we ended up at very tasty, is I think where we're at with that. I will say the barbecue ones are trash, and I didn't even put them on here because I didn't want to get too deep into the. I didn't want to get too deep into the variants of it. I should have because it doesn't really matter. But the because I remember I used to go to Subway and like draw there all the time, you know. So I would get like a bag of chips, and one time I'm like, you know what? Let me get like the healthier version of these chips. So I grabbed the baked barbecue ones, and I was like, this is fucking awful. Like this is not good at all. You know what I mean?
Can you still get the baked ones? Because I feel like I've never seen them in the last like.
Yeah, they got the baked ones though.
Okay, I just need to.
I think the other standard bearer chip is the Frito chip. So let's move on to Fritos. What do you guys go at with Fritos?
With regular Fritos, I'm going classic iconic.
Yeah,
I kind of agree. But like it's another one of those like it's the last chip in the pile of like snack chips, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll eat them. However, Dio brought up earlier, do you like, are we judging this by dipability? Now, some chips, this one specifically, with the right dip, is insane. You know what I mean? Like you give me a bean dip with some Fritos, it's over.
Yeah,
I'm eating the entire bag.
You know what? New tier, man.
With goes insane with goes insane.
We gotta go like serviceable, but goes crazy in dip.
Yeah.
Chip with the dip.
Yeah.
Chip.
Buy the dip.
Chip with the dip. Oh yeah, buy the dip. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. So 3 exclamation marks, 4 even. So Frito with the dip is one of the craziest chips of all time. Like it's the best, you know. There's only one dip chip that I think even goes maybe harder than that one, and that's the Ruffles chip. A plain Ruffle is like the god. It's almost god tier. That's how good it is with like some sour cream.
Cheese. Oh yeah.
See, I don't dip those in anything, but to me that is the the plain Ruffles is god tier for me because that's the potato chip I want.
Oh like
wow. That solves the problem of baked Lays and classic Lays for me.
Here's what I think we should do. We should put buy the dip above very tasty. Because I don't think I could go god tier, but I almost want to say with the dip, it is god tier. But without
for
the
me,
dip,
as a potato chip, it's like the
just a perfect chip.
Yeah.
There was one here. Where did I not have it?
Oh, whoa, dude. The barbecue Ruffles though.
Oh.
So wait a minute. The god tier chip for me is not barbecue Ruffles. It is cheddar sour cream Ruffles. Have you ever?
That's also god tier. Yeah,
those are god tier.
That is just straight god tier. There is just no debating
on that.
A Ruffles. In fact, I don't even know about the like. I don't even know about a barbecue Ruffles. I didn't even know they made it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Good.
But
I'm pretty sure they do, don't they?
Cheddar sour cream is so crazy that it's just like they don't need to. You know what I mean?
You can live off of that, you know. Like
I'm looking it up. BBQ Ruffles. Do they exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently they do.
Yeah.
Apparently they
Hella
do.
good.
Yeah, you know what? I think they are.
I kind of wish you would have had a thumbnail for golden sriracha Doritos, since I have a bag right here.
I've never.
Why would I
heard
have
of
that
them
since
until now.
that's a variant that's too extreme for me to put on the list?
I've never had these before.
I'm happy that you did it though.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you that you got the chips though.
I'm gonna try these for the first time right now.
Get them closer to the mic.
Yeah, hit us with the review. Yeah, can you? Hey, I still got some hearing in this year. Can you chew any louder?
Right.
What was that? Was that Ninja Turtles 2?
Yeah, Secret of the Use. He's eating whatchamacallit,
a Heath bar or
Butterfinger.
Clark bar or something. Yeah, Butterfinger. That's right. Little louder, Mike. Yeah, I can still hear out of this one.
You know what? I taste the sriracha. It kind of just tastes like a duller Cool Ranch. So, like,
Okay, hold on a second. I'm adding something. I thought I was anyways. What did that say? How's the chip? What's the flavor profile? What are we doing?
A little zesty.
You're doing a review. You're not giving us anything. You're just savoring.
It's a little zesty.
So
I taste, bro. I taste the sriracha, a hint of garlic. Maybe some cilantro.
Okay, so I added the Ruffles. I added the Ruffles barbecue because I do remember these now that you bring it up, and they are very good. Should we put these under very tasty, or is Ruffles just like dominating the God tier list? So I don't think they're as good as the cheddar cheese, and I think the fact that I barely remember. I barely remember they existed until you brought it up, and I was like, "Do they make barbecue?"
That's a skill issue, Doc.
I don't know about that. The worst of those kind of chips, though, is the Lay's Wavy. I feel like that's a try-hard chip, and it's too thick. I feel like this is a basically edible cardboard.
Lay's Wavy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Lay's Wavy. It's like Lay's. They made like a ruffle type version where it has the ridges, but it's not. It's just very thick. It's like too thick, and they're bigger. You never had it?
Oh yeah, you can't put that whole chip in your mouth, huh?
That's
bad. The problem with those.
they stink. So there was one chip that when we started this, well, you know what? Let's go to the first one.
There's a Lay's
normal
Wavy
Doritos.
milk
How do we
chocolate.
feel about normal
That's
Doritos?
gross.
I feel like normal Doritos is classic, iconic, go-to, etc. You think God tier?
Dude,
classic Doritos?
You put so far all the chips on the board right now. I'm going Doritos.
Oh, you're putting Doritos above all of them.
I'm saying if we're at somewhere and you got the whole smorgasbord of chips for me, I'm going Doritos.
Yeah.
Tony, how do you feel about that?
I feel like Doritos original are very tasty, but I feel like there's a God tier Dorito chip. It's not. It's we haven't got.
Oh, you're saying that because they have Cool Ranch. You're saying they can't both be God tier because one of them has to be the dominant one.
Yeah, one of them has to be the alpha, and I believe it's the Cool Ranch.
I tend to agree with you. It has a little.
Why does it have to be one or the other though? There's room on the list. I don't understand.
I'm just saying. This is my opinion. I feel like
society works, dude.
Yeah, you gotta. Sorry, man. I take the blue pill.
That's crazy.
My boy Adam says, "Where is Doritos salsa verde?" This is crazy. This motherfucker's like, I don't even bother with chips. Now he's saying you don't have the most like a niche variant salsa verde chip. That's crazy.
I agree with them though. Those are fucking.
Are they?
Those
are old. No, those aren't like. Do they still make salsa verde Doritos?
Oh yeah, they have them.
Those are like spicy though. I don't fuck with the spicy stuff.
They're spicy.
Interesting.
Yeah. They're spicier in these sriracha chips. The sriracha chips are like less spicy than the Cool Ranch, I would say.
That's crazy, dude. If you love Cool Ranch so much, why are you eating that abomination right now?
Well, guess what, dog? Bam!
Oh shit!
Oh, hold on.
Oh, you fell right into his trap, dude.
Damn, he pulled the Uno
Congratulations.
reverse card. He said, "Let me open these up right in the microphone, dude." Make
Tell
sure
me
you
on my
hear
ass
about
face.
it.
That's crazy.
Okay, yeah. Cool Ranch, God tier.
See, they're not God tier for me though. For
Damn,
me,
Cool Ranch, you say Cool Ranch are not God tier?
For me, like I like them, but they are very tasty to classic, iconic, go-to, etc.
Hey, you know what?
Dio says, I don't know why they stopped making them, but early 2000s honey barbecue Doritos were God tier for me.
Oh, I don't think I ever had that.
I think in the interest of like keeping the peace, we should just keep both Doritos at God tier.
All right.
Because I think you're right, and plus Doritos again with a dip is like,
yeah,
it's insane. It goes insane with like another sour cream or.
I never see. For me, those always had enough flavor in them that I never needed to like mask it or add to it. I remember one of my best friends growing up. He like knocked up this woman, and they moved in together like very quickly. And she was like, "Oh, you should have your friend over for dinner. We'll make nachos." And I went over there, and she starts emptying a bag of Doritos out to like make nachos with, and I was like,
"Well,
what is
what are you up to?" Speaking of, here's an issue here. Tostitos. Okay, where do you put these? Because I'm tempted to say buy the dip, but here's my problem: Tostitos aren't any good. Tostitos aren't even good as like a tortilla chip. I feel like it's like
if it's at someone's party, I'm not mad, and it's because there's something to dip them in.
100%.
Like you never come up upon Tostitos in the wild without at least like a basic salsa next to them.
I will say the Tostitos line though, I kind of fuck with them without. I can eat those without a dip and be satiated. The lime flavored ones.
I don't know if I know the ones you're talking about. Yeah. To me, I don't like when things are lime flavored unless there's actual lime, because like to me, lime is not a powder. You know?
Yeah.
And like on a chip, it has to be a powder. Like I want to squeeze some juice onto some shit if I'm eating something lime flavored, you know?
You want to feel it in your hands, you know?
Yeah, I want to be like, forget I had a cut.
I feel like we're getting somewhere though.
So there are these other chips though here that I just added. And these are like just any sort of these Mexican like store brand chips.
Like Juanitas
are by the
dip.
Like
yeah.
You go there, you're like, I've never heard of this brand name before. It's like it's just got like a rooster or like two dancing Mexicans or something. And like if I go to a party and there's those chips there, I'm eating the whole bag. You know what I mean? With some salsa, you know.
If there's a dip though, yeah.
Some
yeah.
Dio says classic Tostito can't even handle dip without snapping in half. Yeah, exactly. But you're saying, Dio, I'm assuming that the scoops is where it's at. The scoops are also trashed. Like the scoops piss me off too.
The thing about them when you bite down on them is it's like they're just fluffy air and then like some kind of dense ass granules that you feel like a rock in your shoe, like on your teeth when you bite down. I've never understood the fucking consistency, the makeup of those things.
Tostitos reminds me of like when I would go to somebody's house, like a white friend's house, and they were having a taco night, and they would have those like taco shells. They weren't like tortillas that were just like fried. They were like a like a shell. I was like, nah, dude.
Do you guys ever have the Doritos like that? They're just like plain Doritos.
Like the taco.
Yeah, without any seasoning.
One?
Like they just didn't have any seasoning on them. They were just like in like a yellowish orange bag. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't like those.
Yeah, very forgettable.
No wonder they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
You know what? We left the Fritos wave a little bit on accident. We got distracted by the dip. So there's a god tier Frito chip, and it's these barbecue twist motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You guys agree?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
The barbecue Fritos twists are insane chips.
Out of this world.
Like, they're so good that like I don't even think these other like cause there's other flavor twist ones, and I don't even think that people even really acknowledge them because they're like, wait, there's a different flavor twist? Like, why? But they apparently have one called queso, and I've had it. It's not very good.
I didn't. This is news to me. I didn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it down here. Not sure why they make these, but okay. Like, it's like I would be mad because like my mouth would be ready for the barbecue twist, but then I would actually get this one and I'd be like, oh my god, why does it taste like this? Then there's the Fritos chili cheese. Have you ever had these ones?
Yeah, dude. So okay, when you get the multi-pack of chips, and you know how you said sour cream and onion is the last one, chili cheese is what you're eating before you eat those sour cream.
Second to last. But they go hard, and you're always like,
go hard. They're really good.
Why did I wait for these?
Yeah, and you open it, you're like, oh, these smell like BO. But once you get past that, they taste fucking phenomenal.
On the other end of that, though, the ranch ones are not good.
I've never had the ranch ones.
I've never had them either. Yeah.
I guess these are. I'm not sure why they make these, but okay. I think I do know why they make them. Because like Frito-Lay, like Lay's is popping, but Frito is not popping. Like they're really only good for these couple, and they're trying out variants. You know, they're trying to like because Frito, the Lay's chips, they're always putting out weird flavors. You know, famously so.
Yeah.
But Fritos,
I mean, if I was Fritos, I would just concentrate on the things they do well and just do that. You know.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything else.
Shareholders don't like it.
How do we feel about regular crunchy Cheetos?
God tier.
Really?
God tier.
100%.
Those
are spicy though.
What's that?
You grabbed the spicy ones or the Flamin' Hots or whatever.
No, I didn't. I grabbed this one.
Isn't that Flamin' Hot?
No, I don't know why. Oh wait, no, it's just this crunchy.
Oh,
I don't know why it's red. This one's Flamin' Hot.
Oh, okay, that is weird. Dude, the little caveman club Cheetos, God tier.
I would almost go just very tasty, and there's no dip that really brings it up. But you guys both say God tier, so it goes to God tier.
Dude, yeah, those and Doritos, man. Between those two, if you make me choose which child, I'm like sweating, dude.
Here's
like the guy with the button sweating. Just
in that regard, how do you feel about Cheetos Puffs?
Not really sure why they make this, but okay.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
I kind of agree with you. I don't understand why they make it. And I only have negative brand association with it because in Little Giants, they call the kid like a pussy because he has the puff version of Cheetos. Remember that? With his lunch?
I never saw that one.
Oh.
I'm like, I'll eat them. I'll eat them.
He's got the Cheetos Puffs. Like, oh, this kid's a fucking pussy. And I always thought that's kind of a pussy chip to have. Like, you can't handle crunchy. And I also don't like how this one, similar to those iconic Lay's chips, where like as you're chewing it, it sort of builds up like a different texture in your mouth.
Yeah. It disintegrates from being this puffy thing into being this like hard. It's like ionized fucking like.
Yeah, it becomes a paste in your mouth.
Yeah,
that hardens in your teeth, which is not good.
Yeah.
And then Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Get that out of here for me. I don't even
know.
That's not really sure why they make this, but okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's you guys are being racist against Latinas. I feel like
I watched that movie and liked it more than you did, but
that movie stunk. That movie's a lie. What's Dio saying? I put Cheetos where I put Doritos in the classic iconic. I don't want to disrespect. Okay.
Yeah,
that's a fair thing.
The crunchy.
You talk about normal Cheetos though. Let's see. I'm kind of like it's down here, but I'm surprised you guys are going so hard against the Flamin' Hots.
Not a fan.
I don't need.
You're saying you're not sure why they make them though. I know why they make them, because Latinas are dramatic. Because toxic Latinas love a spicy chip.
I
How
saw
do you guys feel
one
about
on the.
Doritos 3D? Because you guys are you're glazing every other kind of Dorito. How do you feel about a 3D one of little?
Not sure why they make that, but okay.
Yeah,
What?
same.
Those weren't actually kind of hard.
Actually, you know what? If it's at a party, I'm not mad at it because I'm still like able to get a Dorito somewhat.
But to me, like it's got the right cheese profile, but like the chip itself is more like a bugle at that point. Like I feel like it's not like a.
Okay. How do you
It's
feel
not a
about
Dorito.
bugles?
Now bugles.
Well, hold on a second.
This is tough because.
By the way, Sophie says she only cares about combos. Combos are not chips at all. They're not even close.
And you know what? We'll get to that because I need to revise something I said about what we added.
Okay.
I said we should put pretzels on there, and then I was talking to my wife about it, and we determined that those are actually a cracker and not a chip.
It's not a cracker.
They have more in common with a cracker than a chip, though.
Can you put cheese on a pretzel?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Stop. What are you talking about?
Yes, you can. What are you talking about? People do it all the time.
One of these little rose gold, you put fucking a
dip it in
slice of
queso.
cheese on this.
You can.
That's not what I said. I said, can you put cheese on it? Is this going on a charcuterie board?
Yeah, I mean you could.
It's not. you guys are full of it.
I mean,
These
look,
are
they
chips.
could stay
They're
on
in
there.
the
I was the
munchies
one who
bag.
said we should put them on there in the first place, but yeah, I think
Tell
they
Jamie
are
she's
more of a
wrong.
cracker because they're not like chips are usually like fried.
Oh,
with
like
the
a
exception
baked,
of, like the
like
baked
a baked,
Lays.
like a baked Lays.
Yeah, I said with the exception of the baked Lays, but those are intentionally a chip. You know what I mean? Like, because also they're made from a vegetable, which makes them not a cracker. You know what I'm saying?
I do feel like that they're in the chip aisle kind of makes all this all moot.
Yeah, right. It's
yeah,
in the
but
chips aisle.
cookies are also
It's
in
not
the
in the
chip
crackers
aisle.
aisle.
Well, but that's like
no, it isn't. That's part of the cookie aisle.
No,
It's just next to
the
the chip
stores we
aisle.
have out here, cookies, crackers, and chips are generally.
This guy's.
Hey,
yeah,
look, they
we
can stay.
chips.
They could stay. I think. I'm just saying.
That's crazy.
It's a you know.
Noted, duly noted. You know, we put in the note in the meeting
for the record.
Yeah.
But no. Okay, go ahead.
Sophie says I have to be honest. I haven't had any of these other various flavors of chips. I've only had regular Fritos, regular Lay's, regular Cheetos. I'm so sheltered when it comes to chips.
Yeah, Sophie, what are
she
you?
was telling us to.
Jesus.
What's it
Some
like in the
vindication for
1970s?
Yeah. Dio says this is starting a slippery slope of exclusion. Absolutely.
What's wild to me about that with Sophie though is that she's had like every kind of Oreo ever created.
Right.
I don't
Sophie's
know how
like
some would call chips.
Sophie's like chip menu stopped at the Jimmy Carter administration. Like there hasn't been any additions.
But back to bugles. Bugles are interesting because they are the only wearable item on this. Aside maybe Funyuns, I guess.
Funyuns. I was gonna say, what are you talking about?
But
Don't
Funyuns are too big. You can't like you know, you'd have to like find a specific one that would fit like a ring. But like every bugle is like a Catwoman claw. You know what I mean? Bugles are good, but I feel like you need like one of the flavors.
How do you feel about how they taste though?
That's the thing. The original ones
cardboard.
they're kind of cardboardy, to be honest.
They're basically cardboard, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of edible cardboard, but they're wearable cardboard, which is nice.
Yeah,
they're also like super oily. Like I would never put them on my fingers because then I felt like my hands were greasy afterwards.
I used to know this guy back in the day who would make stuff out of polymer clay, and so we bonded on that. Like he was a customer at the video store I worked at. His name was Chauncey, and he was a cool dude, but he was like, he would make these like really just kind of like gaudy things out of clay, and he would just put like a jewelry hook on it, like it'd be like a little teddy bear out of like Fimo clay, and then or Sculpey, colored Sculpey, and he'd bake it with like a jewelry hook on the back of it. He'd be like, "Yeah, it's a wearable piece. It's a wearable piece." And he gave me an Eye of Ra that he made me, which was sick. But
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, I figure you could wear that when you dance, you know." And I was like, "This thing would kill me. Like if I spin around, it's gonna like hit me." But he was like, he goes, "You know, it's got some qualities to it. You know, And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, just wear it, see what happens. And I was like, did you imbue this with some kind of like a magical like spell or something? But anyway, bugles, like Chauncey's little teddy bears, they are a wearable piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But they're not like good as chips though.
No, they're mediocre chips, if that.
Speaking of those though, like you brought up Funyuns. Where do you put Funyuns?
I'm going classic iconic.
I would go very tasty with the caveat that I have a very fond association of Funyuns if I'm eating tuna fish sandwiches. To me, it's the perfect complementary tuna fish chip. In fact, like growing up, it was so much so that like I remember one time like we didn't want to like we would eat that for dinner. Like I said, like we were so broke that would be like a dinner. It was like my mom would make a bunch of tuna fish and then she would have Funyuns with it. But like if she didn't have Funyuns, she was like, I'm not even bothering with the tuna fish because these motherfuckers will go nuts. Like they would be like, where's the Funyuns? You know what I mean? There was times where like I would get Funyuns. She'd be like, oh no, tuna fish? I'm like, nah, didn't do it today. But
and Funyuns. Do you ever see that?
Was that?
You ever see that? Fuji's and Funyuns.
I don't know that one.
The Zach Galifianakis.
What's that show?
It was a Zach Galifianakis stand-up special, and he was just like riffing, like improvising about he was playing his own brother, and he was being interviewed by the guy, and he was like talking about a fond memory of his brother was eating Funyuns, but he says it in this like Southern accent. Fuji's and Funyuns. We got a Fuji CD, and we was eating a bag of Funyuns. The Fuji. It's fucking great. So that's where it's iconic for me. But
I put them at very tasty.
Yeah,
Funyuns are very tasty.
Yeah, I'm good.
I mean, they're also iconic, but they're also fucking.
They're delicious.
But like,
I would never want to eat one of the variants of Funyuns.
No, yeah, like Dio said, like I can only have a couple of them because they're just so rich or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I can't have too many of them. But they're so tasty.
Fuck up your gout. Give you gout.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Takis?
I don't think I've ever had them.
Yeah.
Okay, they're very fucking good.
What are they?
Like are
they like a stick?
It's a tortilla chip that's rolled, and it's spicy with some lime on it. It's an extremely good flavor profile for a
Never
chip.
had it.
It's sort of like a hood classic. Like that and Flamin' Hots are both hood classics. That's why you guys putting it down there were so crazy to me. But you know, you ain't hood like that, so it's all good.
Oh yeah.
How
do you feel about Sun Chips? Just regular Sun Chips, original.
I'm gonna go by the dip.
Yeah.
What are you dipping in it?
Like a nice artichoke dip, or like a
you're right,
sour cream dip.
Yeah. You're right. See, because like these other ones, these are all like gutter dips that I'll be eating with them. You know, like just straight sour cream, no other component. So I forgot that people will even do that with just like actual dips with the Sun Chip. Okay.
Yeah.
To me, they're a little oily and they're a little like lacking in flavor. But the ones that I think go crazy are the garden salsa Sun Chips.
Yes, God tier. I'd say
those are God tier. Those are insane.
I'm gonna say that those encompass every other flavor of Sun Chip that isn't plain, and that those represent garden salsa.
What do you mean?
French onion. They have like a cinnamon one.
Oh. So I put the Harvest Cheddar on here.
Harvest Cheddar.
I think those are.
Yep.
You think those are God tier too?
I think every flavor of Sun Chip beyond the plain, God tier.
Yeah. Wow. I agree with that.
I don't like these ones.
Okay. I mean, I guess we could knock it down to very tasty, but I agree with Ibrahim that they're God tier.
I threw it on there because I'm like, these aren't even good.
By the dip should go under very tasty.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that too.
No, because by the dip it elevates it to such a crazy level.
Oh,
That's
so
my
we're
Yeah,
saying
but
that's almost like adjacent. Like it's almost
like
like a different
it's
column.
like these are basically God tier once you add that dip component.
okay.
Gotcha.
So
You see what
without
I'm
the
saying?
God tip, some of them are like cardboard. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or
Yeah,
they're
but
just
it's like
iconic.
you're never eating them by themselves. So
Exactly. There's
Unless
you're a
there's no
psychopath.
reason to eat a Ruffles without, putting some little
Yeah.
dip on that shit.
Yeah, you must be down bad. Like you can't afford a dip, then you're just.
Or even just a tub of sour cream. So speaking of, now we're starting to get into some interesting ones. How do you feel about kettle sea salt chips?
I'm gonna go very tasty. Well, no, classic iconic. I'm thinking
Yeah.
classic iconic.
agreed.
I agree. And when these came out, like, I mean, I know they were probably older, like, because Tony said he was eating them when he was a kid. These were
Mhm.
always like fancy to me. I was always like, who eats these, man? These gotta be some rich ass motherfucking chips.
Yeah.
Never did not taste them until I got a little bit of money, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try these kettle chips now that I'm
I do
fancy.
think kettle chips are too dense.
They are. That's the thing
Yeah.
that I learned about them. Is it's almost like my
They're the
humble
opposite
teeth.
problem of the plain Lays, the classic Lays. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, yeah. If they had it somewhere in between those two, it'd be perfect.
They do. It's called a baked lay. But
Oh shit.
Sophie said she's never had a Funyun. That's crazy.
She's wild for that.
You haven't lived.
But Tony, you asked me to put in dill pickle kettle crinkle cut.
Yeah, these are
Never
my
tasted
favorite.
them.
These are my favorite chips of all time because I love dill and they're ruffled, so I love ruffled chips. So for me, when I'm at the supermarket and they always have the little bag next to the deli stuff, I'm always grabbing a bag whenever I see one because they always get sold out. Like whenever you go in there, it's like there's chances
those
you
are
might not
so
get it.
good, and they're like for me, they're the ones I forget about. I'm like, oh shit, they make this flavor, don't they? Let me get that.
And I agree with you that they're dense, but I like the fact that these chips are dense because I just love, like they're so dilly. It's so it satisfies
Where do
that
they
urge.
go?
You know?
'Cause I
I'm going
haven't
God
had
tier,
these
but
ones. Ibrahim?
They're not quite God tier for me. Maybe very tasty. Those though,
Okay.
you could also dip in like, I don't know, like sour cream or something, and it would be like a sour cream and dill kind of vibe to it. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess very tasty.
How do you feel about salt and vinegar kettle chips? Salt and vinegar is another thing where I'm like, this is rich people shit. This ain't for me.
For me, I'm not sure why they make it, honestly.
Okay.
I would say iconic, but that's just because like growing up, that was my dad's chip.
When my little sister was like 5, somebody had some and I gave her one and she cried because she thought it was just a regular potato chip.
I'm kind of with you. Like, this must be like a Easterner thing.
Yeah.
Like, this must, you know what I mean?
Like
we don't do that
vinegar. Vinegar as an ingredient in things like ketchup, barbecue sauce, necessary.
Mm-hmm.
As a flavor of a chip, no, thank you. You know?
What are we doing?
Yeah. Like it's.
Oh, you don't like fish and chips then?
I don't dip it in vinegar. I like
that's what they do
on
the fish and chips. When you get like fish and chips, you get vinegar to put on the fries.
Yeah, I don't do
that. How do we feel about Pringles? Just classic Pringles.
I'm gonna say classic, iconic.
I'm gonna say classic, iconic.
I like how so far these are all just like the normal chips, like just potato chips. They're classic, iconic. They're good. And how do you feel about the barbecue ones?
Those are gonna be very tasty for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what ones I would like include in this because I've never really gotten the barbecue ones. They make pizza ones that are fucking delicious, but I didn't add it on the list because it's like kind of too weird of a variant of a chip, you know?
Yeah.
And like there was also like a pizzeria chip back in the day that was made by like Keebler. They got into the chip game. It was like a Dorito, but it had like sort of pizza flavorings on it.
Yeah, I remember
they were
those.
So fucking good.
See, I don't typically like a chip that is like Like, don't give me like a taco flavor or like a hamburger flavored chip. Like, to me, that
You don't like the taco. You don't like the taco flavor versions of the Doritos.
No, that's tilting at windmills for
Those
me.
are good.
You can't be doing all that.
Those are iconic. Those are classic. Those are go-to. Those were the first ones. I love that they still come in the old bag. How do you feel about the sour cream and onion ones? I feel like these are gross. I feel like these are actively disgusting.
If you put those and like Lay's in front of me, I'm going Lay's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe I'm not mad that
I'm
they're
gonna
there.
say it.
I'm not mad
I'm gonna
about
say
it.
it, but yeah.
I just don't need that from Pringles.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pringles, like, and I also don't like that they have like a little onion on it too. It's kind of gross. Don't make me think about the onion. Okay, so now we're down at pop chips. How do you feel about these? I feel like these are garbage. I don't know if you guys ever had them.
I've never had them. No.
I've only seen the bags. I've never had them.
Are they like popcorn?
We're putting both. They're a chip, but they're made out of like corn, and they're just like they're like a dense sort of like pillow of corn with some salt on it. They're gross, but they're supposed to be healthier, so maybe they're not corn. I think they're supposed to be like somewhere in between popcorn and chips or something. So now we're at the ones where like they're like, are these even chips? Even, you know? Where we're at pretzels, this is a hot debate. Are pretzels chips? We tend to say yes because they come in a bag, they're in the chip aisle, they're with all the other chips, they're in the munchies bags with other chips. But they are baked. They are, Ibrahim's right. They're not just like a fried little thing.
Well, you know how
but where do you put them as a chip? If you were to say they're a chip, how do you feel about them?
Those are classic, iconic go-to for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go a little lower just because I was going to go a little bit lower just because I feel like if you have all of these things on the table, even some of these below it, I'm not going for pretzels. You know?
No.
I'm going to because I want to offset. Like, I'm going to eat a bunch of Doritos, and I said, let me have a couple palate cleansing pretzels. You know what I mean? Also, pretzels are great because you can dip them in stuff, and you can also eat them with like chocolate and like sweets.
Oh, true.
Like, they complement both. You know what I'm saying?
Those like yogurt flavored ones are go crazy.
Yeah, or like even if you're just eating like, if there's like a plate of like chocolates out for like Christmas or something, you're like, let me eat a couple pretzels too. Let me offset that a little sweet, a little salty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They put pretzels in like random ass chocolate bars too. They'll be like, here's a Reese's, but it has pretzels in it. It's like, what? And you know what? They're delicious from what I understand. Now you guys asked me to add dots, which are pretzels, but they're just little sticks.
Well, they're pretty thick, like, and they come in incredible flavors. Like, their honey mustard is god tier.
I love the honey mustard dots.
Yeah, their plain seasoning one is, I would say, very tasty.
Okay, I've never tasted them, so I could. You guys, that was what add these. So okay, so these were the ones that I added that were like they're like they're Stacy's bagel chips and pita chips, and the bagel chips I mostly know because they're also in like those sort of like snack mixes, you know.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like not good, right?
No,
like they're like
here's the thing about those. Every single one of them, as part of the like production process, gets thrown down a flight of stairs. Because when you open that shit, there's like 5 whole ones, and then the rest are just tiny ass little fucking slivers. So
I'm gonna get edible cardboard.
I will say, dips elevate. Like, you will never eat these without a dip. If you're
the bagel chips,
the pita chips specifically.
The pita chips. Okay.
I don't know that I've had the bagel chips by themselves either, but unless you're dipping them in hummus or something, just
right. I think pita
away.
Chips are meant for hummus specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, because they're like, they have the same density problem where sometimes you'll get one that's like, you know how pita bread is like 2 layers, like it's almost like a pocket, that's like sealed.
Pita pocket.
you'll get pieces of those chips that are like a shingle of like, you know what I
So
mean? Like
true.
it's
Yeah.
it'll be like some of them are like 2 layers, some of them are 1 layer, some of them are like 1 layer and half a layer. And the density and consistency is all over the fucking place. And they come in the tiniest little fucking shards. I like just seeing the bag gets me angry. Like I think they taste
I'm not
okay,
really
but
sure why they
yeah,
make these, but okay. Like I don't know how,
yeah,
like why or how.
yeah.
So
Just
the
use
last ones
pita.
are the cinnamon versions of these, which I gotta say, I don't even care that all of those manufacturing issues that you brought up are exist. These are basically like little churros,
Yeah,
and
no,
they
those,
are
I was gonna say
delicious.
like everything I just said doesn't matter with the cinnamon ones. Those
Yeah, because
go.
you throw some cinnamon and sugar on it, and it's like, oh my
Yeah,
god, these are delicious.
yeah.
I mean, this is crazy as hell. These are so
I
good.
would eat the flight of stairs they fell down if they were covered in cinnamon sugar.
I went to the store yesterday after we had talked about how like these are not very common, and the first chip I saw when I walked into this door was these Stacy's chips, and I was like, oh my god, they're right there. But they were some ones that were like a weird flavor that were on sale. I'm like, yeah, no wonder nobody wants those fucking things. And I could not find the cinnamon ones because I was gonna buy those to eat them here during the show, but they didn't even have them. They were sold out.
They're
But I think
also like
people are
the
like are sleeping
crunchiest
on them.
shit ever, though. That's like I can't sit next to somebody eating those.
You
It
know what?
drives
I
me
want to add
crazy.
another. I'm gonna add a tier below. Very tasty. I'm gonna put slept on,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's gonna we can differentiate some of
The
these.
sole occupant.
Wait, yeah. No, because I feel
Some of
like
these
the
might be
Ruffles
slept on.
barbecue are slept on,
Oh yeah.
and I feel like the Fritos chili cheese are slept on.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. Oh, wait, hold on.
You know what? I would put these sriracha and slept on. These are pretty good.
Are they new? I've never heard of them before.
Yeah, it says new on it. I'm digging them.
Put that new.
So I'm putting these
Yeah.
down on the slept on, and this is not to say like they're significantly worse than these. It's just there's so many here, and I feel like there's a few of them that would qualify as slept on bangers.
Yeah.
That maybe even the Pringles barbecue, like they're not quite at the level of these other ones, but they're bangers. There's just slept on.
I feel like those sun chips are slept on, like that flavor.
Okay, yeah. It's not qualitative. That they're not significantly worse than these. They're just like kind of underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like,
you know what? With that, I think we cooked on this fucking thing.
Yeah.
I think we cooked. I think we baked.
Yeah,
I'm surprised how many God tier are in there. I didn't think we'd have as many as we do, but yet they're all there
It's
and they're
hard
all
to get people
valid.
to unite on things. That's why, dude.
Yeah.
We're all just so divided right now, is the thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Dio said Stacy's pita chips are slept on in the sense that a grown man tossed and turned on top of the bag. They have QC issues for sure, but they're still good.
It's just like they're almost like more brittle than any other kind of chip, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know.
Yeah.
Well, there's our chips tier list. Oh, I wanted to point out though, by the way, these Takis one, I like I said earlier, like I do not have a tolerance for spicy food, but if you add a hint of lime, I'm in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if it's very spicy, but there's like a tiny hint of lime, a little acidity to cut through the spice, I don't care. I'll cry about it. I'll just eat it. It's delicious. That's how I feel.
Well, I think our Chips Act put Biden's to shame.
This is undeniable. Great. Let me see if I can download this. Yeah, save or download.
We should have a tier list of our tier lists one day. Once we bank enough of them.
Definitive chips tier list.
So the Marvel movie tier list is never going to get topped.
Yeah, we went crazy on this one.
Mm-hmm.
We did it, you guys.
I think this was also like maybe our least contentious one too.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of arguing. There was no like name calling.
Yeah. Like there usually is.
It's kind of unusual that we don't name call and argue and stuff. We're just like
I guess
the
we can all agree.
flavors are so beautiful that we're like, you know what? If you think that Doritos belongs there, I'm just gonna take your word for it. You know?
Yeah. Look how diverse it is too.
There's an
Yeah.
undeniability to some of this stuff, you know? Like, even if it's not
Yeah.
your cup of tea, it's like you have to recognize that, like, it's a fucking Dorito. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Come on.
The Cool Ranch Doritos go like so hard, and I feel like that might be the number one. Like if you just ask like the chat and stuff too, I saw people saying like, oh, that would better be number one. I feel like the Cool Ranch, but the nachos are also really good too. But it's just it is crazy what kind of dominance Doritos has in the game.
So I mean, I was a kid when the Cool Ranch dropped for the first time, and it changed my life.
I'm the man before you today because of these chips.
There's a map that came out last year of the most popular chips by every state. Let's check this out. Okay. All right. Let's share this tab instead. So Alaska's number one chips is Sun Chips. This is according to Google search results via the loop for some reason.
Look at all this. Oh, I forgot.
Alabama is Pringles. One. That's how you know Alabama's got serious problems, dude.
Yeah.
Who does? Oh, the Sun Chips?
Yeah, the chili lime Sun Chips.
I should try them. Now that you know that you guys know I have my affinity for the chili lime. I had, you know what's funny about these two? They say like heart healthy on them. Are they really?
They're made from like they're made from grains, like whole grains or something. Like they're more of like a bran grain kind of vibe than like a tortilla chip is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. You just have a little bit of lag.
My thing dropped out for a second. Yeah.
But no, they're saying they're made from like whole grain and stuff, or like grain chips or whatever. So they are a little better for you.
Oh, okay. I was watching this thing about how like in the 90s there was this whole thing about like low fat and like low fat just became the trend, even though like having low fat isn't really necessarily better for you, you know?
No.
And like now it's kind of like more like low cal and stuff. But it took a while for people, like the 90s were just so health conscious, but in like a dumb person's version of health. Like, well,
oh yeah,
I
and
don't
then
want to
there's
be fat,
like
so low fat must be I'm not fat.
Yep. There's every year or every decade or every 5 years, low fat, low carb, low sugar, low, you know, there's all kinds of different things that like the body needs that sort of get vilified as like one thing,
right?
You know.
Arizona's favorite Arkansas's favorite chip is Doritos. Arizona's is Tostitos. California's, it says Cheetos, and I gotta say that's probably off the strength of Latinas and their spicy Cheetos. They're flaming hot. Colorado is Funyuns. That's because they all get high over there. That's a classic munchy chip. Connecticut is Tostitos, which is hilarious. Like, yeah, you would pick the whitest version of a tortilla.
Arizona chip. Too. Didn't they say Tostitos?
Arizona was yeah. Delaware also Tostitos. How is that possible? That all of these different like white ass states are like we just love a Tostito chip.
We get a little crazy around here on taco night. Okay.
Florida's is Miss Vicky's. Those are
I think you'd be surprised at Delaware's demographic.
No, I don't think I would be not surprised.
What are Miss Vicky's? I've never heard of those.
It's a kettle cooked chip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this chip, but I've never tasted it. It's a less common version of the kettle brand. Georgia's is just Lay's. Hawaii is Bugles. That's crazy.
Ooh, we forgot the fucking Hawaiian barbecue chips, dude. Those are god.
Oh, I've never had those. That to me, I thought was like a regional thing.
I don't know. We get them here. They're fucking incredible.
Dio said Doritos Classic is like having Wilt Chamberlain on top of NBA players list. You can't not, but at the same time, it's a completely different game now.
Yeah.
That's a good take.
Yeah.
Iowa's into Sun Chips. Idaho is into Sun Chips. Illinois is into Pringles. Indiana is into Sun Chips. Kansas Pringles. Kentucky Pringles. Louisiana is Zaps. That was another one. It was like so regional.
I have no
Yeah,
idea
like-
what Oregon's is going to be. That's crazy.
Massachusetts is Cape Cod. Yeah, it's like another regional chip. Maryland is Utz. Maine is Tostitos. Michigan is Lay's. Minnesota is Old Dutch. Mississippi is Ruffles. Okay, shout out to Mississippi. They kind of went crazy on that. Everyone else is going Lay's, and they're like, you know what? Let me get the superior version of Lay's. Missouri is Pringles. Montana is Pringles.
Wow.
Nebraska is Pringles. Nevada is Lay's. New Hampshire is Tostitos. New Jersey is Pop Chips. That's a nasty place,
wow.
dude.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
gross
disgusting.
place.
That's gross.
They taste like chemicals, which makes sense for Jersey, but like, what are we doing here?
Chris Christie makes a lot of sense.
New Mexico is Fritos. Okay, Southwestern vibes.
Mhm.
North Carolina is Lay's. North Dakota is also Pop Chips. That's crazy. Ohio is Pringles. Oklahoma Pringles. Oregon Funyuns.
Yeah.
Oh, Oregon Funyuns.
They get high here too, so I guess that's
Yeah, for sure.
I would have thought
Pencil-
kettle chips, if anything, but
Yeah. That's crazy. Pennsylvania is Utz. Rhode Island is Pringles. South Carolina Tostitos. South Dakota Pringles. Tennessee Lay's. Texas is Takis, bro.
Oh wow.
Texans got it, dude. Utah Funyuns. Vermont Tostitos. Virginia Lay's. Washington Pop Chips. Really?
I wonder how they
Seattle.
did this. Like, what was the
It was
mechanism?
based on I think it was based on like
sales?
searches for shopping results or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
West Virginia Pringles, Wisconsin Sun Chips, and Washington D.C. is Pop Chips. Wow. Well, that was our chips episode. I think we cooked it. Yeah.
And we baked it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's that time. You guys want to start wrapping up, telling people what you got going on?
Let's do it.
Do it. Go
Tony,
to
what about you? What's going
elcaminoart.com. I am working on some covers for a publisher and also work for hire, and then developing something with David Crispino. I think I said that last week. And that's about it. Just go to elcaminoart.com and sign up for our newsletter that we might do again one day. And then
Yeah,
How about you, Reem?
I'm working on an as yet to be announced project right now, and then I have another book that is just like being colored right now, so that's also not announced yet. So hopefully I'll have a couple of new projects getting announced soonish. Other than that, my YouTube is where I put a lot of my focus, and I'm going to be debuting my first like head sculpts for sale pretty soon here. So
Oh, sick.
yeah, I'm working on like painting up prototypes and getting like a newsletter ready and getting packaging and stuff. So that's going to be coming soon. So follow my YouTube and Instagram for that.
Sick.
And yeah,
oh,
I'm
yeah,
excited about it.
that is exciting.
Thanks,
Hell yeah.
man.
And me, same stuff. I'm working on some pages. I'm finishing up some commissions that are long overdue, but I appreciate everybody for holding on that, and just trying to keep it going. But it's been great to talk to you guys again this week. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to everybody who's watching after the fact. Yeah, hope everybody's doing good out there, and take it easy. Talk to you guys next week.
Good night.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you for watching our video. Make sure to subscribe. Don't have my soundboard up right now. All right, later, everyone.